A crimson sky sets the scene as a lone figure flies toward their mentor's call. On the rooftop, the apprentice listens to clear guidance, eyes determined. The master gently lays out essential rules beneath the night sky. The apprentice smiles warmly, eager to learn. Silence falls as the master hints at a bigger challenge ahead. Together they rise, looking over the city, ready for what's next. A close-up shows their tense expression under moonlight. The master and apprentice walk side by side into the cave, sharing quiet words. Stars glimmer as advice is given, eyes fixed on the distant sky. The master's warning separates them, concern lingering in her voice. Fear strikes the apprentice as shadows loom, worry etched across her face. She closes her eyes, quietly rejecting the thought and drawing comfort from her master's presence. She gazes ahead, lost in unresolved thoughts. The sunlight frames two siblings talking atop a branch, hope beneath their words. She recalls family memories, nostalgia softening her face. A white cloak flutters as an older brother's promise echoes through golden light. Under the hood, her brother's presence brings comfort and surprise. They stand together, past and present colliding beneath the blue sky. They watch quietly as the mysterious man stands in the distance. A glimpse of his power leaves them questioning his identity. She hugs her friend tightly, fear and fascination mixing. The master warns her not to get distracted, gaze steady. The man's silhouette looms large, striking her. Her eyes widen, wondering if he is the legendary sect leader. He stands quietly, the wind brushing his robes. She hugs the child gently, a soft promise echoing in her words. They marvel at the chance to learn, excitement sparkling in their eyes. Night falls as advice lingers and distant figures rest. She peeks from behind, whispering for the sect leader. They leave without looking back, shadows stretching behind them. He observes the empty courtyard, silence all around. Power surges as he stands beneath the sky, calling out. Light and shadow form images, memories replaying before his eyes. His expression hardens, thinking of what was lost. A distant figure reads ancient secrets under twilight. He anticipates a wave of challenges soon to come. Warning lights flare as beta testing is announced. He smiles softly, already expecting this challenge. A digital screen grants access to hidden character data. The stats panel reveals secrets in glowing detail. He grows curious while reading the unusual results. A hidden truth is quietly accepted as night deepens. The countdown begins with a glowing warning on the screen. He smiles, reflecting on the meaning behind 30 days. He muses about Earth and distant dreams, eyes soft. City lights shimmer as memories of another world surface. A shadowy figure lounges, planning his moves in secret. Blue flames swirl as he questions what comes next. He calls out, hunger and hope in his voice. The night pool glows, echoing his silence. Headphones rest against his face, eyes distant with regret. His gaze is locked as blue lights reflect his memories. Another lonely night passes as he faces the screen alone. Resolution grows in the quiet, uncertain light of the future. A boy stands before a dazzling digital wall, lights swirling as possibilities unfold. He steps into a glowing circle, the future beneath his feet humming with energy. As he wakes in a new realm, confusion fades into recognition. He wasn't alone anymore. The sect leader and his companion review old wishes, hope mixing with nostalgia as they embrace. Sunlight streams through an open window, a gentle morning ushering in new beginnings. A child's innocent question echoes, seeking comfort and familiarity from Xiao Qia. Clouds drift across a blue sky as the sect leader contemplates countless hardships and the value of sacrifice. A message on the interface announces that the sect mission function is now unlocked, the choice clear on the screen. He stares at the interface, contemplating whether to accept the challenge or walk away. A smirk breaks the thought. Only a fool would refuse such a mission. The sect leader reflects on years of striving for the sect's dream, the weight of leadership settling in. A single finger hovers over the button, ready to uncover the mission that could change everything. A mission prompt flashes as the sect leader prepares to grade his sect, tension mounting in the air. He stands frozen, uncertainty clouding his expression as the challenge sinks in. Gazing into the dim hallway, his doubts about worthiness grow with each step forward. He checks the quest status, duty and fear mixing as his disciple's voice echoes in his mind. Looking up at the night sky, he confides in his companion, wondering if sword sect bonds truly matter now. A feeling of connection washes over him, memories of camaraderie softening his resolve. He approaches a silent grave under moonlight, hand raised in solemn greeting as he asks for offerings. The tombstone gleams in the darkness, his devotion clear as he brings comfort to those gone. Each cherished memory loops through his mind, the presence of allies a beacon against loneliness. As the moon rises, he pays his respect, hopeful that unity will overcome his uncertainty. The night ends in quiet reflection, resolve strengthening for the challenges yet to come. A glowing moon rises over the cemetery as swirling mist dances among old tombstones, casting an ethereal shadow. He gazes up, outlining the pros and cons of coming to this hallowed place, weighing regret against hope. A peaceful dusk brings birds back to roost as the temple windows glow warmly with the fading light. Inside, two dignified figures sit across from each other, the highest authority meeting of the Mo sect about to begin. Elder Lu laughs off rumors from the mountains, his confidence shining through as he jokes and settles in his seat. The young sect leader sits quietly, focus steady, silently bracing for tough questions on sect succession. Breaking the calm, the elder offers a precious ginseng root, placing it gently in her hand as a symbol of trust. She accepts, feeling the burden and tradition behind the gesture, her mind racing with responsibility. A sudden outburst erupts. A voice mocks the gravity of the gift, unable to believe that such honor could be paid for a mere ginseng root. Calming herself, the sect leader asks for maturity and reason, aiming to refocus the discussion on serious matters. A fist slams down, underscoring the weight of the sect's future, as everyone demands breakthrough and unity. In closing, the grandfatherly elder stands strong, determined to help solve the succession crisis for the sake of the sect's legacy. Master and disciple sit close together as she asks about his recent research, concern in her eyes. She stands on the table, declaring the need for better results and casting an intense shadow on her mentor. He offers silent gratitude for her efforts, a bittersweet pride softening his gaze. Her brother's antics and performances have become more frequent, wearing thin the patience of the sect. Outside, the group prepares to leave for sunrise training. The readiness for new beginnings fills the air. She walks with her mentor, thoughtful about progress and the burden of leadership. A glimpse of the sect's grounds reminds her of expectations and the difficult choices facing them both. The wide sky opens as she gazes over the mountains, restless and contemplative. She asks why the sect leader has seemed distant and silent, her curiosity fueled by concern. An honest answer reveals the weight of recent events, each day heavy with worry. A young girl makes a silly face, her mood lightening the atmosphere and bringing a bright moment to all. Her eyes narrow in concentration as she quietly selects a new mission, determination flickering beneath her calm exterior. Bright-colored pillars glow above her head, each representing a different challenge as she braces herself for the next step. She recalls lessons from a past life, wonder and hesitation mixing as she chooses which mission to attempt. A digital panel appears, flashing blue and purple with the promise of new choices, uncertainty reflected in her gaze. Another panel glows golden, the words offering insight but pressing her to choose wisely as her story unfolds. Her hand hovers over the options, finally landing on the one that feels right, knowing the consequences may follow. The confirmation brings a rush of light as her status updates, the weight of responsibility settling in. Fiery winds swirl outside, mirroring the turmoil she feels as change sweeps through her life. From within the hall, a sense of anticipation grows. The winds outside signal that something new is coming. Her master's calm advice turns her gaze, reminding her to choose boldly and follow her heart, even if the reason seems unclear. She settles down beside a companion, comforted by the hope that her journey will still connect them no matter the choice. On the quiet hillside, she sits in reflection, the world changing around her as new possibilities open beneath the autumn sky. On a golden morning, two disciples and their master sit together, sharing quiet wisdom in the autumn sun. She listens intently, her mentor's words about cultivating patience echoing in her mind as leaves swirl around them. He reflects on the difficult path forward, debating if dedication will truly bring them to the next level in their training. Resolute, the disciple admits she must tell the truth, the weight of honesty visible in her steady stare. With sunlight sparkling on her back, she faces new challenges, hope blending with anxiety as she prepares for what's ahead. A warm smile blossoms as her companion affirms, sometimes the answer should be wait, teaching the value of patience. He confides in her about feeling unworthy of the title master, grappling with comparisons to the most talented swordsman of his generation. A single ribbon dances on the wind, signaling the moment to pause and consider their route before venturing farther. She warns of wild monsters in the bamboo forest, their journey growing ever more serious as they press onward. He reveals old insecurities, wrestling with pride and humility amid the sweeping fields and golden light. A fit of laughter breaks the tension, as the young master's wit brings humor to their otherwise solemn task. They set off beneath red autumn trees, ready to find the path together, their bond strengthened by every shared step. Under the golden trees, the sect leader surveys the training ground, passing wisdom onto his eager disciple. Joy bursts from her face as she sniffs, ready to learn and face the day's challenges with big dreams. A shadowy figure observes from afar, remarking on their energy while keeping his own thoughts hidden. A sudden magical pulse echoes, signaling the activation of a secret quest just as the training begins. The two walk together among the fallen leaves, each step heavy with both confidence and uncertainty. He quietly follows, still wrapped up in thoughts about monsters and past battles, hesitant but not defeated. The excited disciple cheers, finding her sect leader both inspiring and cool, her awe growing with every move. With practiced grace, she demonstrates her skills, proving both talent and determination in every swing. Beautiful autumn colors fill the background as everyone gathers, the world alive with movement and possibility. An elder smiles knowingly, recalling past struggles and wondering aloud about the perseverance of youth. Companions exchange glances, acknowledging the hard work and tenacity required to chase their ambitions. As the wind settles, laughter and purpose blend together, carrying hope into the next chapter of their journey. A gentle breeze rustles autumn leaves as a young cultivator realizes his mistake, reflecting with a chuckle beside an ancient tree. Two elders whisper together, casting suspicious glances at an unfamiliar face whose lack of talent causes a stir. Dappled sunlight filters through the forest as a lone figure journeys quietly, purpose burning within each step. A red vortex whirls in the shadows, signaling the arrival of a deadly monster set to test their skills. By a stream, a thoughtful disciple sits alone, silent determination masking underlying exhaustion. Suddenly, energy crackles in the air as a young girl unleashes lightning with a fierce shout, refusing to back down. A master floats in water, lost in meditation, guarded by swirling power and the secrets of the sect. A sword cuts through a monstrous foe, the clash igniting hope in those watching and fear in their enemies. Steel slides and magic pulses as a new challenger appears, her resolve sharp against swirling threats. Two friends meet in a clearing, one surprised and the other curious, as old rivalries flare up once more. A quiet moment lingers between companions, both hesitant and guarded, struggling to express their feelings. She rises, facing another with careful resolve, torn between duty and hidden longing. Students rush by in the courtyard, laughter and teasing masking the nerves before their next big test. He sighs and takes comfort in routine, cleaning up after others as memories of old missteps haunt him. A rival glares, demanding an apology, each word charged with challenge and unspoken history. Distant clouds gather, the master reflecting on loyalty as danger quietly coils nearby. A giant serpent slithers through the woods, its appearance setting fate in motion for all present. The young swordsman steps boldly into sunlight, ready for destiny, as the echoes of trial and honor follow close behind. A mysterious energy swirls around his hand, channeling new power for the challenge ahead as magic shimmers in the light. She stands tall, explaining how experience points fuel their growth, determination sharpening her voice against glowing air. A child's adventures run vertically across fragmented panels, her curiosity echoing from above and blending with the group's resolve. Ancient symbols flash on parchment, revealing hidden rules and legendary objectives essential for breaking the next barrier. Orange light floods the chamber as she accepts the mission, resolution burning in her spirit and the task set in motion. The sect leader smiles wryly, acknowledging his rivals and the unique opportunity that this challenge presents. Flames race through a volcanic pillar, the heat signifying the strength needed to succeed amid shifting odds. Golden energy condenses around a disciple as master, and student reflect on sacrifices already made, bonding over shared hardship. Lightning crackles through the sky, illuminating thoughts of transformation and the price paid for each success and misstep. In a whirl of fire and autumn leaves, the master illuminates how change means embracing both pain and victory, each step a lesson. Bright orange rings surround her, marking the start of a new journey as she plunges forward, the crowd lost in amazement. With a fiery gesture, the team launches ahead, blending courage and teamwork as the world shifts with each heartbeat. Light beams shimmer as he ponders the path, warnings and hope swirling about, ready to test fate. Petals drift in the wind as cautious fingers harvest rare herbs. Every action measured, every choice weighed. A solemn leader addresses his students, sharing wisdom and urging them to find strength and unity as another trial begins. Eager eyes look up, seeking guidance and a safe path among dangers, growing braver with each word from their sect leader. A small disciple worries at the edge of the training ground, observing her master's seriousness and finding inspiration for her own growth. In the shadow of morning, rumors fly about breakthroughs and hidden ambitions, as fate circles those willing to rise and endure. Golden lights shimmer in the forest as someone quietly admits they're only half right. She hugs a glowing spirit, recalling the guidance she's received since childhood. Two girls share a secret in the morning sun, support and wisdom traded in soft voices. The camera zooms in on a thoughtful disciple, remembering an old saying about the benefit of those who watch over others. A rushing waterfall signals peace and new beginnings, distant memories echoing in the cascading water. The sect leader stands tall among her companions, ensuring them that this place is safe. Disciples confide gently by the riverside, hesitant about hidden strengths and secret hopes. She walks away deep in thought, worries swirling about what destiny holds for her and her sect. A pair recline on the grass, exchanging lessons and advice, their future unfolding under a clear sky. A skilled master sits in solitude, nurturing a small bird and thinking of breakthroughs yet to come. Two walk together. One asks if a remarkable transformation might be near, hope glimmering in their hearts. A young disciple beams, magical energy swirling as she proudly claims her progress. Bright eyes widen as she explains she doesn't regret tasting what the kind guy offered. A playful friend bats at her head, laughter ringing amid mutual teasing and encouragement. The sect leader sits with her little companion, their bond deep as shared worries surface. A gentle silence lingers. A leader reflects on choosing what's right, the weight of the past felt anew. They step into the forest, ready to face new lessons. Sunlight filters through green leaves as hope returns. The last panel follows a determined girl tracking her next goal, resolve shining as she ventures forward alone. A disciple stands quietly, listening to guidance and preparing for the challenges ahead. Her master reassures her with gentle wisdom, the bond between them growing stronger in the green sunlight. Another young student approaches, seeking encouragement and offering shy hope for the day's trials. Two friends meet at a forest's edge, sharing quick smiles before their paths pull them apart for meditation. A senior cultivator bows in respect, murmuring gratitude while promising not to let disappointment show. They gather as a group, final words exchanged before everyone sets off in search of spiritual enlightenment. Lightning flashes as power erupts from within, signaling the beginning of a test that will shake the sect. Ancient teachings echo in her mind as she draws energy, intent on making her master proud. The crowd gasps as bright blasts swirl through the air, awe and excitement igniting the outdoor training grounds. A surprise attack sends two students flying, confusion spreading among the ranks, but resolve remains unbroken. A flash of yellow streaks through the sky, each beam lighting the clouds as a divine warning. Golden rays spark and illuminate, transforming the garden into a scene out of legend as destiny reveals its hand. Expressions twist between shock and hope as everyone realizes the gravity of this moment, fate shimmering above them. Spectators whisper in awe, marveling at the warriors who stand ready against the brilliance of the heavens. Amid chaos, one teacher stands solemn, guiding students with clarity as spiritual energy builds to a peak. A lone disciple closes her eyes, sensing each change in the air as her resolve tightens like a drawn bowstring. Eyes widen as blue planets and shining moons appear, revealing the vast power now unleashed before the audience. As magic fills the sky, every heart in the sect is drawn toward the stars, reminded of the endless journey ahead. A figure floats amidst glowing orbs in a cosmic void, pondering the impossibility of seeing through illusions. She stares in disbelief, realizing the other spirits are deliberately avoiding her presence in this bizarre dimension. Mist swirls around her as she steps forward, determination shining even in the unknown. This strange place fills her with awe, each sight more surreal than the last. A faint memory awakens, and she senses a distant figure wrapped in blue, calling her name through the void. Meanwhile, her friend lies in grass, eyes half closed with confusion and worry as new powers stir within. Reunited, master and disciple stand in the sunlight, as the young girl anxiously seeks answers to her unease. She curls up and pouts, distressed by the silence and hoping the world will make sense again soon. Warmth returns as the master comforts her, promising to explain all when the time is right. She marvels at the waterfall nearby, wondering why its magic seems to have paused, her senses alert. Flowing water suddenly halts in midair, leaving only silence and sparkling mist in the world around her. A blinding radiance explodes, golden and untamed, erasing the borders between realms for an instant. Through squinted eyes, she sees two figures dancing amidst the shining chaos, their movements timeless and distant. Light fades as she wonders about the identity of a familiar someone, her master, or perhaps his shadow. A close-up of her thoughtful face highlights the questions that churn inside, the future hidden just ahead. Her master stands quietly with another, the bond between mentor and student growing deeper in the sun's embrace. Side by side, their laughter floats across the gardens, hope returning to color the world once more. Unseen by all, fate shimmers at the edges, hinting that new adventures, both joyful and perilous, await just beyond the golden trees. Golden light shimmers as a mystical path is revealed, ancient power flowing through glowing runes. A swirling current of energy connects the cultivators, binding their destinies in the midst of a grand ceremony. Pure beams shine across the sky, flooding everything with radiant hope and possibility. A lone figure stands atop a vortex of elemental magic, weaving water and fire in an awe-inspiring display. Water splashes around him, exhaustion showing as he admits the overwhelming volume of trials he's survived. He glances upward, wondering aloud if this really is the 6th time fate has tested his limits. A girl blushes nervously, clutching secrets close as she faces the daunting memory test. Her mentor's calm yet challenging gaze signals the time for honesty, forcing her to recall the toughest lessons. Wind howls as she launches into the sky, determination pushing her beyond her comfort zone. A supportive friend cheers from afar, amazed at her courage and the beauty of her airborne flight. She closes her eyes for one final effort, trusting her heart as ancient wisdom guides the way. Elemental power explodes in all directions, lighting up the forest with spectacular brilliance. Words of encouragement echo as an experienced cultivator gently reminds her that growth comes slowly. She flies higher, strength and grace blending as she faces the unknown with steady resolve. A golden aura surrounds her, marking her as worthy of advanced water release techniques. A crystal-clear message rings out. The young master has finally advanced to the next stage. A magical panel flashes, confirming her breakthrough and unlocking precious water powers for the journey. Racing through the trees, she celebrates her achievement, ready for future battles, just as wind stirs the leaves. The group greets their brother warmly beneath the bright sky, curiosity in their voices as they ask about his health and feelings. A small girl giggles mischievously, happiness bubbling up as she teases her master and friends, face crinkling with delight. The young cultivator stands beside a majestic waterfall, lost in thought as the echo of nature clears his mind. Rippling water glistens in sunlight, swirling in powerful currents as an ancient force stirs beneath the surface. With focused intent, water energy gathers in his disciple's hands, control and mastery evident in every movement. Blue energy rises high as he channels his chi, determination steadying his gaze despite the challenge before him. Crystal water bursts forth from his palm, its purity shining as it answers his call, surprising all who watch. A magical globe of shimmering water hovers above his hand, drawing admiration from elders and students alike. His sister stands proudly at his side, reminding everyone of her courage despite facing monsters and danger in the wilderness. The playful disciple pouts, cheeks puffed as she admits water control isn't her strong suit, laughter bubbling through her frustration. The young master watches his sister shape water like an expert, potent energy and gentle pride filling the air. He quietly reflects on his progress, the echoes of ancient teachings guiding him even as new mysteries arise. Two elders confer, pointing out the world's hidden dangers and counseling care as the students explore unknown terrain. A determined girl surveys the field, cultivating her power as she readies herself for the next breakthrough. She gazes across the lush landscape, new skills burning in her heart, resolve growing with every step forward. A sweeping view of the mountains and sky frames the next trial, promise and peril shimmering on the horizon. A master instructs his pupil, wisdom flowing from his words as they rest beneath the shade, discussing next moves. The girl's thoughts drift to her own path, seeking answers and discovering just how much she has yet to learn. The master and his companions walk among the willow trees, discussing shifting sect relationships and the delicate balance of their world. Close up on a determined disciple, anxiety flickering as she wonders what the future will bring. On a windy bluff, the sect leader's robe ripples as he hopes nothing bad comes to the absent friend. A magic interface glows orange before a young woman, signaling the next step of their quest. She stands before the fiery screen, face half-shadowed, contemplating the task her ancestors once faced. A bright morning finds the group gathered. The youngest raises her hand shyly to volunteer. Everyone looks on, surprised and amused, as her enthusiasm breaks the tension. The mood lightens as disciples share a drink, the littlest savoring each sip beside her mentor. On a grassy hill, two siblings enjoy a quiet moment. She hands her brother a drink with a gentle smile. The older brother accepts gratefully, their bond strengthened in the sunlight. He drinks again and again, determination filling each motion as worries slip away. Her laughter peals joyfully as he gulps down the last drops, finding courage in the ritual. She watches his calm resolve, a little in awe of the change in him. Suddenly, the horizon warps as if thunder rumbles, anticipation surging among the group. Shock twists their faces as reality bends, leaving them grasping for understanding. One calls the other monster with affectionate exasperation, marveling at the strength that's revealed. A realization dawns for both. Nothing will ever be the same now, knowledge and power forever shifting. As the sun sets, the sect leader gazes forward, ready for new trials with his closest allies by his side. Her serious gaze searches for reassurance, questioning if her master ever truly felt fulfilled after all these years. Golden light swirls as doubts surface, her stride halted by the weight of uncertainty she struggles to cast aside. A loyal friend offers patient encouragement, his presence steady as the wind, calm radiating from his hopeful words. A shy but determined companion quietly supports her, gently reinforcing the bonds they've built through every up and down. An elder's advice echoes, wisdom forged by hardship reminding her that not every path leads to easy answers or glory. She stands at a crossroads, a surge of power marking the child beside her as an extraordinary spirit for cultivation. Two disciples sit cross-legged, the curious girl wondering why their master seems so troubled lately. She tilts her head, sensing there's much left unsaid as the group wrestles with their own insecurities beneath the morning sky. A single burp breaks the tension, laughter mixing with nerves as the mood begins to lighten at last. A sudden surge of glowing energy envelopes the youngest, swirling like a dance between destiny and youthful promise. With awe and concern, everyone observes the transformation, a magical resonance sparking hope and worry all at once. In the midst of revelation, the little one calls for her master, confusion and fear hiding beneath her brave exterior. She receives congratulations and an affectionate embrace, the elder celebrating her beauty, talent, and resilience together. A digital panel flashes advancement, signifying a leap forward and the birth of new possibilities for the whole sect. Crackling yellow aura surges around the mentor as he readies himself for anything, determination etched in every motion. A vertical blue bar reveals his new rank, pride and shock chasing away the fatigue of long nights and uncertainty. He proclaims that there's nothing left to fear. It's time to step into the next challenge with unwavering confidence. In the closing scene, an elder scholar reviews everything that happened, quietly plotting what comes after this turning point for the sect. A brilliant surge of energy shoots skyward, the disciple steeling herself under her master's watchful gaze and wise counsel. Plans swirl in his mind as he contemplates risky choices, the glow of ambition softening his features. He studies an interface filled with code and options, the weight of past failures lending intensity to each line. Confusion and embarrassment linger as he ponders the meaning behind an ambiguous message, caught between duty and discomfort. Anticipation grows. He looks to the horizon, eyes keen for change and the approach of a new trial. Rumors swirl about the sect's position and strength, the shadow of recent successes pushing everyone to train harder. A gentle smile breaks across his face, calm masking the thoughts of risk and reward that fill the moment. A scroll unrolls in capable hands, bearing powerful secrets and instructions. Ink a bridge between old wisdom and fresh ambition. New decisions spark hesitation but resolve, the disciple stunned as mounting pressure weighs on her shoulders. A half-finished confession escapes. Memories from the past and the search for future growth threaten to collide. Hope flickers as the master's gaze lingers on companions who have come and gone, each path a reminder of dreams disbanded too soon. He weighs fate, love, and old ties, determination and longing twist together behind a subtle smile. A teacher's presence inspires, lighting the garden and calling everyone forward with warm encouragement. The sun sets on the training field, the disciples gathering strength for what lies ahead and friendships quietly deepening. He confides in a trusted companion, the memory of harsh lessons balanced by a sincere desire to try again. Old rivalry softens into reluctant friendship as reflections on youthful rivalry give way to understanding. A disciple's resolve solidifies, deciding she must move forward and leave her doubts behind. The garden grows hushed as day turns to night, each soul wrapped in the day's lessons, ready to face tomorrow's uncertain promise. A stern elder stands before his disciples, silence rippling through the gathered ranks as he prepares to speak. Two disciples reflect quietly among rocky mountains, weighing the elder's orders and the uncertain future ahead. Darkness surrounds a lone figure meditating, hope and fear battling in his heart as ancient words echo. A younger disciple is called forward, surprise flickering in his eyes as the spotlight lands on him. An elder addresses the group, rallying everyone with a promise of new beginnings and shared destinies. Crowds gather as rumors swirl. Each face is anxious, awaiting news of the sect's next steps. A solemn leader performs a private ceremony, drawing strength from tradition and the spirits of the past. He stands before an altar, mourning for what's lost while promising to protect those who remain. The narrative shifts to a private discussion, where a mentor quietly offers perspective to a troubled disciple. Birds take flight as the young disciple contemplates his place, the burden of expectations pressing down. Alone now, he wonders what path to follow, longing for a clear purpose amidst swirling thoughts. The elders discuss sect matters, their wisdom guiding each decision as voices blend in the hall. "All of you give up," the leader declares, defining the moment with grave authority and sorrow. From this day forward, every disciple must carve out their own path, fate hinging on courage and unity. The leader folds his hands in silent prayer, grief and resolve etched deeply on his face. A close-up reveals the disciple's determined gaze, as he faces both judgment and new opportunity. With colorful clouds behind, someone stands bravely before a painted mountain, looking for guidance from above. Steps approach, then a hand grabs another, connection and promise marking the start of another journey. On a snowy peak, a quiet moment unfolds as master and disciple face the morning chill, silent thoughts shared between them. A worried glance falls on a friend's weary face, concern growing over the burdens quietly carried. A flash of childhood memory fills the next panel, innocence contrasting with the weight of growing up in a turbulent world. Between golden clouds, two figures pause to contemplate the world below, their bond tested by shifting fortunes. A candle's gentle light signals hope and guidance, bringing comfort to those navigating uncertain futures. Sisters walk side by side in yellow mist, one curving a soft smile as she contemplates their different paths. Her lips curl into a knowing grin. "Your light is different," she admits, sensing hidden strength beneath gentle words. A deep breath steadies her resolve, determination shining as possibilities and responsibilities swirl overhead. A pale friend stands in stunned silence, struggling to understand the force of her companion's conviction. Two travelers cross sunlit fields, an unspoken question lingering about the nature of destiny and the heart. A surge of wind and magic swirls around the protagonist, signifying the power and risk of their newest leap. Blinking, an outsider stares in disbelief at the spectacle, awe and confusion etched across his face. A vivid rainbow sweeps across distant mountains, the promise of change declaring itself to the entire landscape. A close-up of blue eyes reflects mysterious energies, hinting at secrets buried beneath the surface. Across a crowded sky, thousands of birds return home as history echoes. Breakthrough always comes to those ready to brave the unknown. A panel framed with orange light signals a moment of decision, determination lighting up the sect leader's face. Rosy cheeks bloom in anticipation, the youngest disciple bursting with hope and admiration for her mentors. The last panel closes on a confidant, their words blending past and future as the sect prepares for the trials yet to come. A gentle touch calms an anxious disciple as her master offers patient encouragement amidst the morning light. Two elders greet their siblings with news about rare fish, curious about new talents and expedition stories. Talk quickly turns to prized ingredients, a legendary limited edition fish, sparking questions about its taste and rarity. The shy disciple wonders aloud if limited edition can be eaten at all, jumbled logic making others smile. She ponders Xiao Qie's human side, wondering if her friend truly understands the strange world they live in. A quiet cultivator contemplates the risks of adventure, her mind drifting as sunlight warms her solitary place. Laughter erupts from playful friends as someone boldly claims the prize with a triumphant shout. A disciple leaps into a hug, celebrating success and surprising her master with infectious joy. The master gently warns against speaking too loudly, advice swallowed by the cheerful chaos of friendship. Sweet praise and gentle teasing reassure the group as the youngest asks if the sect leader is a good cook. Small hands cast a fishing line under sheltering trees, determination shining amidst childhood dreams. A wave of magical energy catches everyone's attention, leaving the closest friends stunned with wide-eyed delight. Xiao Qie sits dazed beneath sparkling lights, asking the leader what mysterious power is brewing. A sudden embrace brings comfort, recognition, and relief. Happiness glows in their faces as answers are given. With wisdom, the master urges everyone to act, setting an example as he strides purposefully into golden daylight. A clever disciple reveals his senior brother's hoard, hidden storage used to keep daily necessities safe and sound. The sect leader calls Xiao Qie to his side, ready to teach the basics of being a true cultivator under leafy shade. A new question dawns on her face, curiosity stirring as she realizes her world is full of wonders yet to be explored. The sect leader dazzles with serene confidence, ready to teach as morning light sparkles around her. Tiny tributes of thanks are offered, the disciples feeling both nervous and honored in her steady gaze. As lessons begin outdoors, the leader's silent wisdom draws attention from every corner of the garden. Beneath the shade, her presence radiates quiet strength, each gesture hinting at power beyond what's spoken aloud. A disciple nestles closer, seeking answers to fears about spirit energy and the rules that guide their path. With the grace of a teacher, she leads by patient example, inspiring those who watch closely from afar. The young ones exchange worried glances, shadows of the past lingering even amid fresh hope. Inside, a surge of darkness threatens Xiao Qie, casting doubt and eerie visions upon her journey. Questions swirl as she wonders, does spiritual energy really feel cold? The room fills with tension and uncertainty. Just then, a spectral figure swoops down, bravery and worry mixed on Xiao Qie's face as she pushes through the test. Light bursts around her. Shock courses through everyone as she leaves behind fear to step into her own destiny. Uplifted by success, she shouts in delight, burping at the oddest moment and making her friends laugh. The lesson ends with cheers as the group celebrates returning home, safe, energized, and together once again. In a moment of reflection, the leader hides a smile, remembering the embarrassing but heartfelt outburst. Nearby, Xiao Qie questions whether her burps signal something magical or just a satisfied belly. Quiet fills the garden as day gives way to dusk, students learning that wisdom comes as much from confusion as clarity. Strong bonds endure, smiles, tears, and awkward moments alike poured into the journey. The chapter closes with hope. Every trial, no matter how strange, shapes the path of spirit cultivation for all who walk it. The family's morning begins with gentle laughter as siblings and elders gather, each touched by the golden light pouring through the windows. Their faces show both fatigue and contentment, testament to journeys conquered and bonds that have endured hardship. A lone silhouette contemplates the future, lingering at the temple threshold while shadows slip across his determined expression. The past lingers heavily in memory, filled with promises made and not always kept. Bird's eye view reveals the sect's sprawling compound, awash in peace that hints at both stability and the responsibilities quietly pressing down on every roof tile. Two disciples return from travel, greeted warmly by friends who rush forward with genuine smiles and relief. The air buzzes with shared adventures and the faith that someone always waits at home. Reunion brings gentle teasing as friends rejoin and recall old nicknames, the warmth of mischief only deepening their connection. In this embrace, even old wounds begin to heal. Motherly advice is dispensed beneath a spreading tree, the winds carrying forward kind words and the reminder to always pursue virtue alongside power. Elders and youths line up outside the main hall to report on recent events, courtesies exchanged between young and old alike. Through ritual, they reforge a continuity that traces back generations. Eager disciples present rewards reaped from their latest quest, hoping for approval and validation as their treasures sparkle in the sun. It is tradition that every gain must be shared. A gentle tap on the shoulder interrupts, signaling a private moment between two close friends. Their exchange, at once serious and playful, brings a soothing calm to the busy day. Quiet flattery and humble bluster dissolve into laughter, each glance affirming that these bonds are as real as any victory earned. Around the corner, a figure broods on missed chances, watching as friends celebrate and quietly resolving to do more next time. Regret, ambition, and hope spiral in every glance toward the door. Inside, the leader counsels a disciple rattled by harsh words, assuring her that not every slight requires the sword. Generosity, not vengeance, will be what lifts the sect. Abrupt laughter erupts as someone in the kitchen contemplates whether the soup is for arguing or for actual nourishment. Amid all the grand lessons, the mundane persists. Lessons scatter outdoors, the clatter of sticks and laughter echoing as old masters and new students spar and learn together. Sunlight, dust, and exertion blur into a single shared experience. By the ancient front gate, wisdom is exchanged. An old leader reminds the youngest that true cultivation requires humility, not ego. The view is clear and wide, the road still long. Beneath an ancient tree, a scholar clears her mind, preparing to ask her elders questions that matter most. The path of learning is never straight nor finished. At sunset, friends cluster around a low, wooden table. Chopsticks click and bowls steam as the conversation meanders from victory to misstep and all the mystery that always returns with the night. As the last rays slip away, a gentle voice asks the room for questions. Shadows flicker as knowledge passes from old to young, and plates slowly empty. The cycle continues: family, loss, renewal, and hope. Under the lantern glow, the master quietly encourages her protege, aware that fears linger even on nights of celebration. Bonds forged through trial and patience keep them steady, while nearby, laughter drifts in from the training yard. These rare moments of trust turn a house of disciples into a true family. Alone in the starlight, the elder brother searches for solace, thinking back on burdens he has yet to share. The wind rustles the leaves, carrying old promises and the weight of leadership. His silhouette stands as both protection and longing, never fully at peace with past choices. The training ground bustles with the evening's excitement, the week's lessons put on display in every confident stride. Above, lanterns swing gently, casting light across faces both anxious and eager. The clan's traditions live not in stone, but in daily practice and humble confidence. Sisters, back to back, review their new skills, each vying for praise without uttering a word. Shadows lengthen as one admits her doubts, uncertain if her spirit is truly strong enough for what's to come. The master, passing by, signals a quiet approval that steals their hearts. Behind the main gate, the prodigal son returns, greeted by teasing and a warm smack on the shoulder. Old nicknames and little grievances tumble out, softening the long separation until it fades to memory. The family's welcome masks concern, hoping he has changed as much as he claims. The courtyard sparkles as stories are swapped for advice, each tale laced with bravado and sometimes a warning. Even the elders lean in, drawn by laughter and mischief alike. All present sense the nearness of challenge, old rivalries, perhaps, but always a shared future. A sharp retort erupts from a determined girl, her fist held tight, defending her own path amid gentle derision from peers. Her declaration brings silence, then acceptance, a new respect sparked as the sun vanishes behind tiled roofs. In these trials, everyone finds a role to play. A whisper of worry hovers as the youngest slips away from the firelight, bursting with a secret she's not ready to share. Her absence stirs search and speculation among the others, each guessing at the trouble or inspiration she might bring back. Such mysteries bind the circle tighter, as much as any vow. Inside a quiet alcove, advisors confer over maps, debating positions for the next contest and who will be chosen to step forward. Their voices are hushed but urgent, balancing discipline with compassion for those still learning. Strength will be needed soon, but not at the expense of unity. Upstairs, a late lesson in calligraphy brings together friends who would otherwise be rivals, their laughter slipping easily into reminiscence. The hush of ink and brush quiets childish quarrels, showing that true mastery is built in small moments of patience. Through art, the power of legacy is passed down. A stray dog, long since adopted by the sect, curls up beneath the kitchen porch as the cook hands off leftovers to the boldest children. Under the table, hands and paws meet, both glad for simple friendship and the warmth of a shared meal. Even amid hierarchy and ambition, kindness is never out of place. Xiaoqia finds herself at the center of a sudden commotion, overwhelmed by concern after an unexpected blunder. Her elder tries to comfort her, but embarrassment and longing for approval are hard to balance. The crowd eases and reminds her that mistakes are part of every ascent. In the master's study, a whisper of ancient knowledge returns, codes to unlock an inner barrier. Silence rules as all listen to the unraveling wisdom, wide eyes clinging to the hope of personal breakthrough. In this room, the past comes alive as a beacon for what's possible. Supper carries on as always, with scholars boasting of their insights while apprentices quietly measure their progress against loftier goals. Through satisfaction or disappointment, each one learns what it means to strive and to enjoy the relief of simply being together. As the last embers die out in the courtyard, the leader seeks out one last soul who lingers, lost in reflection. They share a hush that needs no words, mutual understanding that even courage bears fears to be faced in the morning. The night ends not in victory, but in the renewed promise to start once more. Sleep soon claims most, hearts still echoing with the day's drama and the certainty that every effort matters. Old quarrels, new alliances, and the steady rhythm of practice will meet again beneath tomorrow's sun. So the cycle continues, with each member growing stronger, through every lesson, every trial, every dawn. One last star falls as windows darken across the sect. Middle of the night reflections hover between resolve and forgiveness for mistakes, each student discovering, in solitude, what truly sets their spirit apart. Rest gathers the household, cocooned in hope and held tight by tradition. Behind every powerful display, every heartfelt lesson, the sect's enduring story is one of small kindnesses, honest questions, and courage in facing both failure and the unknown. These are the moments that shape legends, quietly, insistently, across the turning seasons. She promises herself to protect her brother's reputation, feeling the heavy burden of family honor settle on her shoulders. With quiet determination, she keeps her worries hidden, refusing to let others see her vulnerability. The vow strengthens her resolve, even as the challenges ahead remain uncertain. A confidant sister muses about her own place in the sect, half joking that she wishes she could dull her senses and be less aware. She shifts her gaze, admitting the act of pretending not to know is sometimes much easier than openly caring. Underneath her relaxed smile is real concern and subtle envy for those who can be blissfully ignorant. The youngest stands with wide eyes, her mind racing with the anxieties of being among the more experienced disciples. She struggles to process the expectations and responsibility, wishing someone would explain everything plainly. Despite her confusion, she resolves to observe closely and learn fast. Two brothers share an intense glance in the midst of commotion, a single word. "All right," breaking the tension. There's a mix of irritation and deep trust as they silently agree to face their next trial together. The moment marks a rare unspoken understanding in a family prone to bickering. The sun sets in a tranquil panel, casting a warm glow over the pathway where the siblings walk home. The serenity is tinged with worry about tomorrow, but also with hope that a new dawn will bring clarity. This peaceful pause stands in stark contrast to the uncertainty they have all just faced. A single figure stands in ceremonial robes among falling petals, bracing herself for a formal announcement. Tradition weighs heavy, but she straightens her back and prepares for words that might shape her fate. She quietly prays the outcome will honor her family's sacrifices. A sword gleams, half drawn, reflecting determination in its polished blade as wind stirs around it. In that moment, intent and doubt war within the owner, teetering at the edge of decisive action. The tension crackles. What happens next could change everything. With a heroic shout, a young disciple swings the sword upward, forcing aside hesitation and fear. The blade flashes, revealing skill born not just from practice, but from stubborn, desperate hope. At last, he feels ready to be seen as more than just a child of his house. 3 friends gossip under golden trees, one remarking how strange it is that nothing ever seems to go exactly as planned. They joke about how often their best ideas fall apart, but all agree that's what makes their journey so remarkable. There's comfort in facing the unknown together. A gentle smile creases the leader's face as she quietly contemplates her next move. She hee-hees to herself, masking her nerves with light humor, already planning how to keep her siblings on track. The confidence she shows is hard-won, born from hard lessons in patience. A tiny hand tugs insistently at an elder's sleeve, the smallest disciple asking if a nearby seal has truly been placed for protection. Her innocence is a reminder of what's at stake, as security and belonging mean everything in a world fraught with uncertainty. The leader stoops down, reassuring her team with patient words as she restores calm among the youngest. She touches her sibling's shoulder, the gesture firm and gentle, and promises to never let harm come to them. Duty and affection merge as she accepts the role of guardian. A ceremonial sword is raised in front of the new generation, each line etched with history and family pride. The children stare in awe, each feeling the immense weight of tradition resting on their slender backs. The implication is clear. Every action, every mistake will be remembered and judged. The smallest one stands on tiptoe, determination burning in her big eyes as she declares her place in the younger generation. Her declaration may sound naive, but it's a pledge to never be left behind. The others exchange wry, affectionate glances. They know her spirit will shape their future. A panel bursts with confusion as 3 question marks hover over a disciple's head, her uncertainty palpable. Everyone seems to want different things, and she wonders how to keep up. The chaos overwhelms her, but she refuses to give in to panic. Outside, the eldest brother trains alone, sword flashing against the sunset as he channels loneliness into focused skill. Isolated from the chatter of his siblings, he's determined to become a steady pillar when the others falter. The wind carries his thoughts far beyond the courtyard, but discipline brings him back every time. Leaves drift against a sky awash in fading gold, as the siblings gather for one last conversation before night falls. They reflect on what's been lost and what each still hopes to protect. With the coming darkness, promises are renewed and rivalries quietly put aside. The final panel reveals a single defiant strike. The youngest now sparring beside her brother, the scene a perfect blend of bravery and uncertainty. The fight is far from over, but all the siblings now move forward as one. Together, they accept that courage, stubbornness, and love will always be their true legacy. A blinding burst of energy fills the sky as the sect leader channels inner power in a desperate attempt to change fate. His silhouette rises against the golden explosion, determined to defy expectations with one final stand. It is the moment where the impossible is made real, or risks leaving everything in ashes. A clash between rival disciples rips through the air, skill and pride defining each move as their allies look on. Swords blur, feet quicken, and hearts race with the stubborn hope of proving themselves to their elders. Underneath every strike, victory, shame, and a lifetime of rivalry are at stake. The eldest sibling steps into the fray, eyes steeled, refusing to let fear dictate his decisions. The late sun burns across his back, highlighting a warrior's calm that masks deep uncertainty. His resolve casts long shadows over those he leads. Nearby, another disciple, battered and determined, drags her blade up to face the coming storm. She can feel eyes on her, and she won't let doubt win, though the challenge is greater than any she's faced before. No matter the pain, quitting isn't an option. A rival launches high, wind and silk trailing as she dives with all her might, the sound of the battlefield echoing in her ears. The shouts below fade until only the clash of metal remains. She tells herself that today, she fights for everyone who can't. Above the roar, someone taunts from a distance, daring the fighters to prove their worth once and for all. Harsh words sting, but they only fuel the fire burning in both hearts. The contest is now more than victory. It's become the test of everything they are. Bright sparks burst as sword meets sword, shockwaves scattering debris and forcing everyone to brace themselves. Each fighter digs deeper, drawing strength from memories, dreams, and every lesson hard won. In this crucible, true character is forged. Amid the chaos, the youngest disciple watches with awe, hero worship shining in her eyes. She cheers her sect leader with genuine pride, certain that she has never witnessed anything more amazing. In this moment, admiration outweighs fear. Concentration and will shape every motion as a mentor and her protege rally each other to keep going. Their voice is both warning and encouragement, reminding that to falter here would let countless sacrifices go to waste. They press forward together, their fates linked by shared grit. A powerful impact splits the battleground as two techniques collide, and both sides waver but refuse to break. Friendly taunts mix with concern. Every shout is an act of love dressed as challenge. The line between rivalry and kinship thins with each passing second. Another leap, another test, the duel's tempo only intensifies. Each fighter matches the other's resolve. There can be no victory without risking everything. Even as exhaustion rises, no one dares step back. Blood pounding, the older brother finds himself gripped by an old fear. Will his efforts ever be enough to honor the family sword? The answer, he knows, doesn't come from skill alone, but from understanding what it means to truly lead. He breathes in, readying for whatever comes next. Flames swirl as magic meets muscle, forming a dazzling bridge between past and present. Ancestral voices seem to rise, pushing every disciple onward, their history a constant, invisible hand at their backs. With every movement, they honor not just ambition, but the weight of those who came before. The Reveless, eyes fixed on her opponent, lets power radiate from her stance. Her sword intent blazes red as she tries to close the gap, both literal and emotional, between them. It is a dance as much as a duel. In a final turn, energy ripples across the field, painting the contest with streaks of scarlet and gold. The world narrows to the flash of a blade, a heartbeat, and then silence as each waits for the dust to clear. Victory and loss hang in the balance as a quiet falls. Everyone searches for meaning in the aftermath of the storm. What matters now is not just who stands, but what was risked for a fleeting moment of glory. As the sun dips, the story's next chapter opens. Who will rise, who will falter, and what will the future ask of them? Each survivor looks to their siblings, ready to rebuild, to learn, and above all, to keep fighting together. With the flames fading and the world cooling, hope, rivalry, and stubborn love are what remain. Promises renewed within calloused hands, battered blades, and unyielding hearts. A single warrior erupts skyward on a wave of fiery red, the world below shrinking as she defies fate with every pulse of energy. Each leap is a declaration of her courage. Even the sky seems to bend before her will. A disciple rushes into the clash, blade glowing hot, determination frozen on her face as she aims for victory or redemption. The crackling heat at her fingertips promises both danger and promise in every arc. Momentum gathers as flames spiral into existence, forming a deadly river of light that splits the battlefield. The discipline of years channels through her body. Now she is the storm. On the ground, a friend steadies herself, clutching a sword with trembling hands as hope and fear wage war in her eyes. It is her chance to prove she belongs, yet doubt claws at her resolve. At the edge, another stands resolute, solemn beneath the scarlet sunset, refusing to let sorrow or jealousy dictate her actions. She would rather break than yield to her own insecurity. Above, an elder's voice rings out, admonishing the young with the reminder that even the sharpest intent can't cut through arrogance. His words cut more deeply than any sword, forcing them to weigh pride against precision. A duel is joined, the sound of metal cracking as blow meets blow, the dance of rivalry elevated to a spectacle fit for legends. Dust swirls, obscuring the victor as the crowd holds its breath. A devoted fan cheers wildly for her chosen champion, sparkling eyes alight with admiration. In that instant, belief becomes magic, heroism contagious. In a moment of quiet, two stand apart, teacher and pupil, the older one's patience met with youthful frustration. Wisdom passes between them without a word as they watch the field, dreaming of their own day in the spotlight. Suddenly, chaos erupts again. A clash of techniques, the air splitting as both rivals unleash everything in desperate symmetry. There is no turning back, no second guessing. A blow lands, a gasp, a spin, a glint of realization as one finds herself on the defensive, skills suddenly pitted against ingenuity. Pain and pride ignite together, neither backing down. From a distant ridge, a silent witness records it all, hoping that the agony endured will inspire the next generation to greater heights. Magic and muscle weave together, each technique painting a red arc across the dying light. Spectators know these are the stories that will be retold for years, embellished and revered. As dusk gathers, the elder fixes his gaze on the battered field, pride overflowing beneath stern features. He knows from experience that only by risking heartbreak can legends be born. A moment of stillness, a fiery path across the heavens, chasing after the vanished glory of a match hard won. The world feels suspended, breathless, satisfied yet restless. Below, victory is claimed not only by strength, but by the willingness to stand up after every failure. Pride, injury, and laughter collide, each scar a secret badge of honor. The final panel shows the Sect's warriors gathering, embers of adrenaline still burning in their eyes as mentors and students alike begin to piece together the night's lessons. Backed by family and rivals, none will walk away unchanged. In the cooling twilight, resolve returns. Tomorrow will bring more challenges, but for now, they share in triumph, their hearts alight with hope, rivalry, and quiet, unbreakable love. The master breaks his silence and reveals his secret technique, steel blue sword intent swirling around his determined gaze. As power flares, even seasoned onlookers feel a chill, the difference between intent and action blurring in the rising storm. The next moments will decide whether legacy or rebellion shapes their fate. A whirl of darkness and golden energy erupts as a sudden blow throws the battle into chaos, the field warped by shockwaves and desperate parries. Spectators gasp. Every swing is a gamble between pride, history, and the need to survive another night. Ancient fears loom as a disciple recalls harsh lessons, old wounds reopening even as she stands her ground. Her mind is torn between forgetting the past and choosing to fight for the next generation. An upstart draws forth a hidden blade, its arc catching the bloody sun as she throws herself into the fray, determined to be more than a spectator to her own future. The wild gleam in her eyes unnerves her rival, signaling a clash that will echo long after the dust settles. The enemies collide, intent and will fighting for dominance as neither will yield, each believing that only decisive victory can heal old pain. Swords spark and magic erupts. The air is thick with fury and longing. A gust of wind knocks the youngest fighter to the ground, rattling confidence but igniting a stubborn hope she thought lost. She clambers to her feet, refusing to yield to the jeers of onlookers or her own insecurities. A single eye blinks open beneath disheveled hair. Defeat has not quieted her spirit. Instead, it sharpens her ambition, a silent promise to return stronger. Rushing in, her brother parries a strike meant for her, a wordless act that speaks of sacrifice, loyalty, and the complexity of sibling bonds. For a split second, an old rivalry fades, replaced by trust. Energy surges as their joined intent slices through the chaos, a momentary clarity anchoring both. It is enough to rally their side, inspiring others on the battlefield to remember why they fight. Outnumbered, a lone figure braces for the next attack, eyes wild but unafraid. He channels pain into resolve, accepting that the fight is bigger than any single dream. With a sharp scream, a sword shatters, an omen passed from mentor to pupil that skill without heart will always falter. The lesson cuts deep, spurring both warriors to uncover new reserves of courage. Someone falters, clutching at a bloodied arm, breath fogging in rapid bursts. Instead of withdrawing, she listens for the memory of a teacher's voice, drawing fresh strength from remembered lessons. The enemies close in but are repelled by a coordinated counterattack. The siblings move as one now, instincts perfectly matched and boundaries erased. The next panel explodes with color, blues, reds, and golds, in a final surge of all-in recklessness as every rival unleashes their trump card. The dust clears and reveals the battered but unbowed. The leaders stare each other down, mutual respect rising through exhaustion. A mentor steps forward, gathering survivors around him, and declares that true victory is measured not in triumph, but in growth. Disciples bow their heads. Tears mingle with sweat and hope. The closing image is of siblings walking off together into the encroaching dusk, shoulders straight despite fatigue, united by everything they've lost and gained. Above it all, the stars return as silent witnesses, promising that every wound and every lesson is only the beginning. The seasoned master stands with shuddering shoulders as the final round of combat is called, the battered arena glowing with spent energy. He surveys his disciples and knows that loss and victory are only sides of a deeper lesson, one learned in blood and hope alike. With every contest, leaders are forged and families remade. A sword clangs down in defeat, a lone warrior kneeling at its base in grim silence. He struggles to accept his failure, haunted by memories of past glories and promises that now feel impossible to keep. Shadows lengthen as he wonders if perseverance or pride will see him through. Her hands tremble as she pulls herself upright, the sky swirling with gold leaves as the teacher's words echo in her mind. "You've lost," he says, not unkindly, but proof found in her slumped stance and silent tears. Only by facing the truth, she realizes, can growth ever begin. In a distant courtyard, a younger disciple watches with wide eyes, unsure if she is witnessing an ending or a beginning for her mentor. The breeze carries falling petals and a hush, and she senses more stories still untold. Soon, it will be her turn to risk everything for the sake of the sect. A panoramic panel reveals windswept dunes and distant figures, history's relentless march hinting at the smallness of every triumph and defeat. As disciples trek forward, their shapes blur into the legacy of the clan itself. They walk paths traced in struggle, each footfall a vow to endure. Beneath a blood-red sky, a solitary figure is elevated by the prayers and hopes of an entire generation. Lances of intent radiate from his stance, ritual giving new meaning to his exhausted posture. Greatness feels closer, but comes with crushing solitude. Suddenly, monstrous forms lash out from the darkness, ancient fears made flesh as the price of ambition. For every step forward, there is a threat waiting to devour faith and courage. A battered disciple, sword planted in the ground, kneels in respect and regret before the clan's memorial blade. She knows her story is no different than those who've come before. Ambition, humility, and pain spinning in endless cycles. A moment of vulnerability passes as she confides her defeat to a trusted mentor, admitting that finding her place will not be easy. There, among shadows and torchlight, the difference between giving up and starting over blurs. Loss is difficult, but witness and encouragement make it survivable. Solo in the faded light, she tightens her grip and forces herself to believe again. The loss may not define me, but the iron forged by disappointment might. An elder's silhouette appears, standing quietly beside her through the swirling autumn leaves. They watch the sunset together, old wounds easing for the first time in years. Unspoken comfort flows. Sometimes that is enough. Close up on distant eyes and a smile, a soft speak, passes between friends as floating petals mark a peace settled by hard-fought honesty. Where sword strikes once fell, words guide now. A proud brother faces his sister as a new challenge presents itself, clan and legend swirling in the air behind them. "You don't understand," she admits, realizing at last how hard true mastery can be. The two share one final gaze before the path splits again. Defiant, the youngest throws herself into training, leap after leap across the stone courtyard until exhaustion gives way to clarity. She will earn her place not by talent alone, but through every small act of will. Her mentor, facing the new dawn, reflects on hope, survival, and the pain of loving someone who must find her own way. Each lesson is bittersweet, shaping both master and student. Soon, golden light surrounds a returning leader, older, scarred, but unmistakably changed for the better. To those waiting at the gate, his presence is itself a kind of reassurance. Someone gazes from a window, torn between celebrating the return and mourning the change time has wrought. Such is the price of legacy. Joy is always shadowed by loss. The moon rises on the survivors, fatigue and promise woven into every silhouette. With tomorrow, another battle, another lesson. But tonight, they share in the rare quiet of journeys bravely and painfully endured together. The eldest sibling stands solemn and proud, acknowledging the lessons of defeat with a steady bow and a faint, knowing smile. He assures the assembly that wisdom can be born from loss as well as from glory, promising to train harder. In his poise, there is the quiet strength of someone who understands the path ahead will be demanding but not impossible. Two siblings meet beneath the fading sky, each wrestling with their own ambitions and the need to reconnect. Gratitude mingles with uncertainty as they try to share their burdens, questions left unspoken but understood. Their embrace is more than just familial. It's a pact to keep facing adversity side by side. Alone on the parapet, The younger brother contemplates the events that have just unfolded, gripping his sword with practiced ease for comfort. The wind plays with his hair as he steels himself, vowing not to falter in the tests still to come. Every scar, after all, tells a story of resilience. A quiet moment flickers between master and student, the memory of the sword's weight now carried by both. The teacher's approval, offered with a glance, fills the student with hope, even as doubts remain. The flame of ambition burns brighter, fanned by each quiet word of encouragement. A jubilant crowd celebrates the victorious, lifting some onto shoulders and welcoming others back from the edge of defeat. There's healing in these reunions, but also a new layer of rivalry brewing beneath the surface, each smile hiding a hint of challenge. Such is the way of this family, the tension always endures. The littlest disciples, awash in light, wonder at the spectacle of discipline and magic that has just unfolded. Curiosity sparks a flurry of questions none of the adults are quite ready to answer. Against the backdrop of triumph, they are already dreaming of their own time in the ring. A not quite stoic face reveals itself, the master's gaze softening with pride and fatherly concern for the siblings' progress. He watches as the children trade stories by moonlight, careful not to interrupt, for wisdom is sometimes best learned on its own. A rival-turned-ally offers a backhanded compliment, teasing that the only thing sharper than the champion's blade is their wit. The laughter that erupts is genuine, easing the sting of old wounds. For now, at least, competition and connection coexist in balance. One thoughtful disciple crouches at the edge of the arena, scribbling notes and quietly observing. Learning isn't finished just because the fighting has paused. His brow furrows, a new question is forming, one that may just change the odds next time. Uncertainty is his ally, not his enemy. Evening deepens, and gratitude is spoken in small doses, one handshake or word at a time. These gestures stitch together the stories of heartache and heroism, ensuring memories of the night will never truly fade. The younger sister stands apart for a moment, reflecting on the cost of pride and the sweetness of forgiveness. Her eyes are bright, but her posture betrays exhaustion. She knows there is much left to prove. Silent contemplation colors the last panels as the siblings and students alike wander out of the frame, the master's promise to teach resonating in every step. Tomorrow is unwritten, but everyone walks toward it with bolder hearts. The eldest disciple stands in the orangey haze of sunset, admitting aloud to the world and herself, "I'm truly not worthy to face it." Her eyes betray disappointment as dreams of greatness waver, yet defeat cannot wholly erase the spark of longing that remains. Resilience flickers, her journey is far from over. A younger sibling and master-like figure walk together under a warm sun, their steps in sync as they contemplate the burdens of leadership and expectation. In the quiet, an unspoken agreement forms. Every path forward will require both humility and courage. In the golden light, hope clings to every shadow. A midnight moon shines over a silent courtyard, illuminating the old pain and new possibilities that haunt every disciple's heart. Night's cool clarity brings the realization that healing and wisdom only follow honest reflection. All is quiet, but the air stirs with anticipation of tomorrow's trial. Perched atop a peak, the youngest suddenly realizes just how much she stands out, and how much danger that brings. Fear surges through her, but she meets it head-on, a grin splitting the worry as she prepares to face the unknown. The resolve to act, the will not to hide, lights her from within. A friend stands nearby, stoic but gentle, ready to offer advice or a calming word if needed. He weighs the risk of intervention, knowing from experience that everyone must face their own turning point. The tension is a silent language they have always shared. A brilliant surge of magic explodes, flooding the frame in blue and gold, the rush of awakening pulsing through every fiber. This is the tipping point, a power long hidden now demands to be seen. No one will ever mistake her for ordinary again. The disciple's rival, watching from the sidelines, sighs with admiration and envy alike. His silent promise. He will push her harder next time, not out of spite, but out of respect. Among them, rivalry and friendship are forever entangled. Night deepens, and the protagonist pays respects at the clan's ancestral altar, each bowed head sealing a pledge to honor those who came before. Magic shimmers around every offering echoed by ancient stone. In this ritual, the past and present briefly touch. A soft swirl of mist rises over the graves, and the gathering disciples find courage in their shared vulnerability. Each quiet affirmation, each trembling word, is as fiercely fought as any sword duel. Together, they are stronger, even in sorrow. A friend watches her, sensing the struggle beneath her determined facade. He holds back words of comfort, trusting she will speak if her burden becomes too great. Some battles are lost, and won entirely inside the heart. Another approaches, warmth in his presence, and together master and student begin to reflect on the courage it takes to admit flaws. Their voices are low, backs straight as the last of the day's trials fade into memory. Dignity finds a footing beside regret. Alone, she murmurs, "No, I'm a disciple, but who would see me as the main character?" Her question is not just for her teacher, but for the universe itself. She dreams of mastering without having to ask. On the porch, a trusted mentor pauses in thought before answering the hardest questions. Why success always seems out of reach, why some are chosen and others must struggle. His answer encourages honesty, not blame. They agree that comparison leads only to sorrow. A long gaze across the darkened courtyard offers quiet companionship, steady against the tide of doubt and ambition. The mentor light, still, reminds his charge that acceptance matters more than applause, and that steadfastness is its own reward. Together, they watch the moon climb. Wordless, the protagonist rises, seeking a new perspective on her journey, a sense of closure for the pain, and a fresh burst of ambition for what lies ahead. Every lesson strips away false pride until only hope and humility remain. The night is theirs, and so is the morning after. Spirits flicker on the path home, ancient magic trailing behind a student's hesitant steps. She feels the gentle nudge of old wisdom and the tug of new purpose. The world, vast and shadowed, seems just the right size for one more try. Another student gently scolds, "Can't you still give up the breakthrough?" Knowing the desire for triumph can sometimes blind those who yearn. She shakes her head, smile blooming. "Don't worry, we're all still breathing." Hesitation recedes, and she opens herself to growth. Closing the day, moonlight wraps the students in silver, reminding each that progress comes only with honesty, perseverance, and the willingness to begin anew. In the village's peace and promise, brave hearts dare to dream again. She reflects under the stars on how her relationships have changed, struggling to balance the longing to reconnect with the reality of distance. The warmth of the fireflies seems to echo the hope she feels for rebuilding lost friendships. All the while, she knows determination alone may not be enough, but it is where healing must begin. Sitting with her thoughts and the glow of the moon, she turns over an old token in her hands, its meaning complicated and tinged with regret. She wonders if there's still time to mend what was broken, haunted by the memory of a fateful night. Yet the stillness offers comfort, reassuring her that forgiveness is possible. A swirl of gentle magic answers her silent plea, a spectral fox spirit emerging to dance in the quiet darkness. Its playful gesture sparks a rare smile, helping her believe in second chances. In that luminous moment, old pain softens into resolve. The fox spirit calls out, its longing and loneliness mirroring her own as it begins a hopeful song. The sound weaves with the night's breeze, carrying wishes the protagonist dares not say aloud. Their connection is instant, magical, bittersweet, and full of promise. Lighting incense before an ancestor's grave, she whispers a heartfelt apology, asking to be worthy of legacy and love. The smoke rises and twirls, blending memory and aspiration. In her vulnerability, she finds courage to press forward. A cascade of colored light reveals distant ancestors' approval. The ritual glow coats her in hope, but demands humility. She recognizes the journey ahead will be full of trials, each a delicate step between remembrance and reinvention. Cradling a new treasure, she ponders all those who came before her, vowing to forge a future both proud and merciful. Her oath catches on the night wind, heard only by spirits and foxes. Magic wells up around the clan's holy site, causing old grievances to shimmer and resolve in a tide of release. This act of letting go is as demanding as any battle. Surrender is its own bravery. A rush of ancestral energy answers, a flood of blessings and warnings mixed. Images of failed legacies flicker, their lessons severe, but their pride in her clear. The protagonist bows, both heartened and sobered by the weight of these ghosts. With the night growing colder, she consults the spirit again, asking for guidance in dreams and deeds. Her request is met with playful riddles, as the fox teases her in gratitude for her kindness and patience. A mistake interrupts, magic misfires, the fox's form blurring as she realizes not every hope can manifest on command. She gasps, then laughs, finding comfort in imperfection and the promise to try again. Electric energy crackles as she studies the spirit's symbol, realization dawning. Success requires more nuance than force. The lesson is as clear as starlight. Growth demands patience, compassion, and a readiness to make mistakes. Freshly determined, she weaves another prayer, offering a drop of blood for luck and resolve. The fox spirit returns, its eyes full of approval as they rekindle their pact. A mischievous twinkle glimmers as the fox spirit teases a strange demand for a few more drops, holy humor lightly scolding the earnest disciple. With gratitude, she agrees, amused by the process. A blank, silent panel falls. Sometimes, answers must wait for another dawn. She lets go for tonight, content with the simple warmth of hope and a new sense of belonging. As dawn approaches, the protagonist rises lighter, her heart bolstered by ritual, magic, and the healing strength of honest yearning. She knows the next challenge is coming soon. For now, the spirit and the girl rest together, each holding quiet dreams, soothed by the knowledge that tomorrow is a blank page, alive, unbroken, and open to possibility. The last rays of magic fade, and she treasures this night of catharsis, grateful that pain and hope can, at last, coexist beneath a forgiving sky. Beneath the moonlight, the master questions aloud if this is really the right choice, uncertain but refusing to let doubt show in her careful posture. The lingering spirit fox joins her, adding comfort and mystery to the quiet moment. As the night deepens, she knows some answers will not come easily. Her mentor strides confidently with the glow of magic at his fingertips, symbolizing wisdom passed down from 1,000 sleepless nights. He reassures her, explaining that every lesson is forged from mistakes and risk. The disciple nods, knowing well that even the boldest journeys begin with questions. A fox-shaped spell ripples in the air, energy undulating with every movement as ancient magic weaves through the garden. The disciple watches in awe, recognizing the rare moment when tradition and innovation merge. The line between luck and skill blurs as the ritual progresses. A shadowy figure quietly observes the scene from behind the lantern-lit fence, torn between worry for the future and pride in the present generation's resolve. She reminisces about her own struggles and prays that these new bonds will outlast the hardships ahead. Exhausted from the strain of magical training, the youngest sits cross-legged, battling discouragement while the world spins on around her. Moments of vulnerability slip through, but a spark of hope remains in her bright gaze. She vows to try again, no matter how many times she falters. Elsewhere, a playful spirit encourages the youngest disciple, nudging her to joke and keep her mood light. One sincere smile is all it takes to melt the lingering tension from the day. Laughter, like magic, becomes a source of unexpected strength. A gentle rebuke from her older companion urges her not to be so hard on herself. Progress is built on patience, not perfection. Doubt lingers, but she begins to trust that her efforts matter more than any instant results. At the clan's threshold, the master kneels to explain that even good intentions can lead to confusion, and it's okay to mourn mistakes as they come. He touches her shoulder, grounding her in the wisdom that growth is seldom linear. Side by side, mentor and disciple reflect on the day's spells, each admitting to their own insecurities with open hearts. They find comfort in shared imperfection, a new tradition born in honesty. In the moonlit courtyard, the fox spirit reappears, swirling among the lotus lanterns and blurring the border between reality and dream. Its presence reassures them that kindness never goes unnoticed. Later, the youngest practices a mantra of encouragement, wide eyes shining as she promises to be braver for herself and others. Sweet hope lingers in every word. A senior laughs and tousles her hair, reminding her not to overthink things. The sect values both wisdom and whimsy. With cheerful resolve, she beams at the challenge ahead. Amid gentle teasing, one older sibling urges, "Say you're the best," pushing the youngest to claim her own worth out loud for the first time. Her surprised stare is quickly replaced with laughter. Wide-eyed, she tries her best, voice trembling as she affirms her place within the family spirit and the faith of her mentors. A moment passes when the burden and the blessing of tradition both settle on her small shoulders, visible in her silent pause. In the hallway, mischievous spirits tug at her sleeve and offer riddles, reminding her that magic and confidence are rarely straightforward. Later, a mural recalls the story of masters and apprentices past, uniting each generation in triumphs and stumbles. She realizes she is never as alone as she sometimes believes. Finally, At her window, the disciple muses about whether to chase her goal right away or reflect a little longer. Either way, she is sure now that her journey will be defined not by flawless progress, but by resilience, laughter, and the bonds she continues to build. She awakes in muted twilight, mind swirling with thoughts of magic, mistakes, and new beginnings. Though her spirit guide flits in and out of sight, she clings to the lessons of the night, wondering which doubts will follow her into the day. Even uncertainty feels gentler now, shaped by small victories and gifted wisdom. The disciple stands before her mentor with renewed determination, promising not to let the struggles of the past day define her future efforts. Her words are soft, but resolve has never felt stronger. She believes that every setback is a chance for renewal, not regret. At home, the youngest beams with eyes sparkling, quietly marveling at how much happiness a little progress, no matter how clumsy, can bring. For a moment, nothing else matters except her conviction to keep growing and make her sect proud. Two friends laugh and share fruit by lamplight, relaxing into the rare comfort of genuine rest. The warmth between them hints at trust rebuilt after fears and failures, a reminder that courage always travels in good company. A new day dawns as rooms fill with light and bustling voices, the family's losses, and small triumphs honored with quiet smiles. Even simple chores are transformed into acts of belonging, each echoing the truth that home is built from shared effort and gentle routine. Sitting alone, she ponders the last instructions her mentor gave, heart quickening with overdue gratitude and hope. Shadows and self-doubt flicker at the edge of her vision, but she welcomes the challenge to stand taller than before. The youngest is pulled aside in the courtyard, gently scolded and gently inspired, as her mentor reminds her that pride flows from honesty, not just power. She listens closely, determined to accept even her imperfections with grace. She blushes when prompted to praise herself aloud, surprised by the unfamiliar weight of the compliment. Conditioned to doubt, she steals a look at her friend and is reassured by a silent nod. The courage to try is what truly matters. Eyes wide, she watches the mentor's patient smile and realizes that humility is not the absence of pride, but its kindest form. Teasing continues, with laughter and confusion chasing away old anxieties. She's amazed that encouragement can matter more than spells, and is grateful that someone else believes in her, even when she falters. A sudden misstep whisks her off balance, sending her tumbling through the hallways as lessons of magic become lessons of patience. Outside, classmates giggle at her wide-eyed stumble, but she is quick to join them in laughter, the embarrassment dissolving into newfound camaraderie. In the garden, she finds her path blocked by the shadows of former pupils and friends, all of whom faced trials as daunting as hers. The mural on the entrance wall depicts long-ago students supporting one another, legacy intertwining with present hope. She turns away from a group conversation, momentarily overwhelmed by the unspoken expectation to succeed. The crisp air cools her cheeks as she chooses, instead, to take a silent walk beneath the trees, gathering her thoughts for what tomorrow will bring. A moment of reflection passes as she contemplates returning to join her friends or lingering a little longer in careful solitude. Just then, she decides to step forward, vowing that whatever choice she makes, it will be honest and brave. The room glows with afternoon sun as she finally declares, "I might as well go for it right away." Her voice is small, but its sincerity resounds. Her mentor, watching from a doorway, silently approves, not with grand applause, but with the gentle respect reserved for those who grow the most. In a world filled with challenges and noise, these quiet affirmations shine brightest. Across the threshold into evening, the young disciple looks up, remembering every ordeal, mistake, and encouragement. In her eyes, a new resolve simmers, ready to face whatever comes next, confident that family and spirit will light her way. As dusk settles, she whispers thanks to those who guided her, knowing that as long as she keeps learning, hope will never be lost. In gentle darkness, her journey, like every true journey, has only just begun. A full moon rises above the lotus leaf boat as two figures float in tranquil silence, the world below them fading away in silvery light. Their journey together is quiet but meaningful, finding strength in presence when words are no longer needed. Moonlight softens old scars, promising peace for the night. A student turns in surprise to a familiar elder, asking what brings her to this far-off place. Her presence, unexpected yet welcome, signals that even journeys meant to be solitary are never truly walked alone. Mentorship and kinship, it seems, find a way back. As an old secret is revealed under the moon, reflection takes hold, a story of loyalty and sacrifice that shaped everything. Past pain lingers, but clarity rises about why certain choices are never forgotten. Trust is tested, and deeper devotion is sown beneath cool starlight. A reunion blossoms as the elder is asked why she leaves so soon, and what worries press upon her heart. Concerns are gently shared, with glances full of both gratitude and yearning. Sometimes, all that is needed is the admission that leaving is hard. An embrace passes between friends and rivals, their memories entwined with tenderness that outlasts competition. In the hush, they find the courage to let down their guard. Amid vulnerability, the promise to return shines even brighter. Gentle hands support a bowed head, sorrowful farewells enveloped by the warmth of understanding. The need to say goodbye is honored as hopeful tears mingle with laughter. The bond, stretched thin, will endure. One figure turns away, stoic yet soft, listening to the shared past as it reconciles with the promises of today. The strength to move forward is born from reconciliation. The first light of dawn offers hope for chances to come. A golden dream shimmers in the elder's palm as she confides that every wish carries both risk and reward. She encourages her protege not to let fear of impermanence dim the longing for a long life well lived. The message is simple. Ambitions must be cherished, not regretted. A light-hearted moment bursts forth as the younger's wildest aspirations are spoken aloud, drawing playful skepticism from around the circle. Her boldness is met with cheerful support, and just a hint of worry that some dreams are too big for this world. The night illuminates the odd pairing, a student in awe, a teacher not at all surprised that ambition outpaces fear. Their freely spoken hopes are what bind them most tightly. Side by side, the duo gaze upwards, exchanging quiet promises to support one another even as fates diverge. They know that destiny will test what their hearts yearn for. Distant lanterns mark a festival below as the brighter future they chase seems tantalizingly close, yet still impossible to grasp. Light spills into darkness, the city's joy echoing in the tranquil calm above. Above it all, the quest for purpose burns as fierce as ever. A candid confession disrupts the calm. Let's cherish every moment. One says, the weight of mortality and the wonder of being alive mixing in every word. A sigh carries through the darkness as one recalls that not all journeys can be shared equally, and that patience is a virtue best learned together. Loss and gratitude merge, forging contentment even when the answers aren't easy to find. A new resolve rises in both, strengthened by what they have endured. The night's challenges have not erased their longing to do better, they have only deepened it. A wish is made under the stars as the two cling to the wisdom that dreams are worthwhile because they are fragile. All around them, hope takes on new forms. The final frames find them steady, one promising to never abandon the other, the second vowing to one day surpass her mentor. Under watchful constellations, legacy and ambition entwine, the night winding down with hearts fortified for the battles ahead. As the moon dips, the boat drifts onward, into uncertainty, but not into loneliness, buoyed by love, tenacity, and a quiet belief that tomorrow's journey will bring both challenge and dawn. A moonlit discussion unfolds as the apprentice admits her lingering doubts. Tonight, confidence slips through her fingers, replaced by vulnerability. Her companion listens attentively, never rushing her toward reassurance or an easy answer. Sometimes, sharing the fear is the bravest act of all. Bright, blue-tinted moonlight follows their walk along the Sect's boundary, brother and sister charting the line between safety and solitude. Silently, they wonder if courage really means faking certainty or simply persisting despite doubt. Each step is both farewell to illusions and a promise to do better tomorrow. Wrapped in a midnight cloak, the master contemplates an unopened book. Wisdom withheld, perhaps, until the right question finally arrives. Learning is a lonely, stubborn pursuit, but faith in each disciple is quietly renewed in every waiting silence. An anxious disciple grips a sword, shadow swallowing her resolve as she measures present failure against countless nights of practice. She aches to prove herself, fearing that tomorrow will find her no less uncertain. Determination storms and falters, always circling the same hard questions. A bright arc of swordlight slices the night. She lunges, heart in her mouth, chasing a fleeting vision of mastery. The cutting wind briefly lifts her burden, but the truth is as cold as ever. Every swing is a small rebellion against despair. Steel clangs as another challenge is posted. Scores marked in shadow, pride and defeat written equally in each stubborn clash. No matter the outcome, the story deepens, as every loss sharpens the disciple's hunger to rise again. Timid gratitude colors the apprentice's voice as she receives a prize book. Her expression is half hope, half apology, a silent acknowledgement of debts not yet repaid, of lessons still unfinished. Small victories matter most on sleepless nights. Messengers depart under the vast moon, their shadows stretched long over the distant fields. Safe journeys are wished and not guaranteed, but hope lingers as quiet as a prayer. Perhaps this time, everyone will return. A mentor waves a soft farewell to a group headed toward unknown trials, hiding his lingering worry behind a patient smile. He trusts their strengths, but fear for his family's safety knots tighter with every goodbye. Duty and love, as always, are a tangled thread. As a shooting star streaks across the sky, another disciple whispers a half-earnest, half-joking wish. She yearns to cross the boundary between awe and inclusion, unsure if she'll ever be considered one of them. For now, she lets the moment pass without regret, content to chase the wish. A sword's spirit glimmers in a crystal, beckoning with a mysterious pull as dusk settles. Even the bravest hesitate before the tempting lure of legacy. It's a summons to both glory and humility, the price uncertain. Legends swirl in the next panel, sect names drawn in spectral light as if painted by memory and longing. The sword sect stands tall at the center, its story written and rewritten with every generation's struggle. Though the paint may fade, the myth endures. A rainbow of glowing swords hangs on the next scene's horizon, hinting at a test yet to come. The stakes are less about ranking than about becoming the kind of person who never stops trying. The true measure is not in color, but in effort and perseverance. A lone blade appears, beside it the familiar ache of comparison, the challenge to surpass yesterday's self. Growth has never been so stark as seen in the quiet moment before all the noise returns. Later, someone sits with a notebook and a tired sigh, wondering aloud why trouble always seems to find this strange, mismatched family. Weariness mingles with fondness. There is comfort in chaos when it means never facing the world alone. On the next page, a forgotten sword is redrawn, the effect of time both evident and kind. Lower, middle class, how strong. The self-assessment lingers, never quite harsh, always charged with a sly hope that the gap can still be closed. The night concludes with gentle acceptance. A disciple stands beneath the moon, considering all the ways she has changed. Failures become lessons, and with every doubt comes a new ambition. To try again tomorrow, better and bolder. A final look. The sect's walls stand aglow under the dreaming moon, their strength no longer just in stone but in the resilience of those who call it home. In silence, in striving, in starlight, hope builds, and history continues. Night drapes the veranda as the master gazes into the darkness, tea in hand, reflecting on the clan's tangled destiny. Though his expression is calm, a silent burden lies heavy over his heart. As the wind rustles through the trees, he wonders if he can ever set the past to rest. A candid conversation unfolds between two elders whose histories are as intertwined as family. Their voices lower with each honest word, pain and pride mixing as they test each other's trust. Over time, nostalgia softens even the sharpest edges of disappointment. Elsewhere, the newest disciple lingers outside, steeling herself with whispered affirmations before entering the amber-lit hall. The weight of legacy is undeniable, but her resolve anchors her like roots clinging to stone. She steps forward, trembling but hopeful. A swordsman polishes his blade under moonlight, recalling nights when confidence and recklessness meant everything. Now, wisdom demands he trade bravado for humility, a lesson won with every scar. The reflection in the steel reveals both the journey's toll and the spark of determination that endures. In the studio, an artist charts the family's fortunes on parchment, brush flying as she tries to capture fleeting sense from swirling circumstances. Every bold stroke tells a story of ambition, sacrifice, and the hope that mistakes might be redrawn. The ink is not yet dry, the outcome remains uncertain. A flute's mournful song rises, echoing through corridors where secrets and worries are safe for a few stolen moments. Throughout the household, those who listen feel a pang of kinship. Music becomes a fragile bridge across generations. On the northern steps, the strategist returns, finding solace only in silent observation of moonlit gardens below. He replays decisions past and present, all the what-ifs that keep him restless. To lead is to question, to ache, to plan again and again. Lightning splits the mountain peak, A messenger arrives with urgent news, clutching a scroll as if life itself depended on it. He bows without words. The hall's silence is as ominous as drums. Someone must answer, quickly. A minor advisor pours tea, ever the observer, cautious optimism watching the main players move pieces in a game where little is truly left to chance. His habit of reading the room before speaking is both armor and proof of wisdom. A meeting of equals plays out around a lacquered table, all goals and grudges briefly set aside as the room's flickering lanterns illuminate furrowed brows. For this clan, alliances are complicated, built and broken with every shifting season. Two siblings argue in the storeroom, their spat muted only when an elder passes by and looks on unimpressed. What's left unsaid lingers longer than their shouts, each regretting pride more than they would ever admit. A hand slams down, splintering a wooden tray, anger and despair boiling out in one impulsive act. No one rushes to reprimand. Sometimes fury marks a necessary turning point. Back in the main room, laughter trickles after the tension, as someone recounts the advisor's embarrassing mistake at that year's festival. The relief is palpable. Hardship breeds humor among those who survive it. A young scholar slumps over her scrollwork, unable to summon respect for the rigid practice or the overwhelming expectations that drive her. "Why does it always find us?" becomes her refrain through every midnight effort. The fire burns low as a younger sibling watches the grown-ups, unsure whether she wants to repeat their endless cycles of duty and regret. In her small, secret heart, she vows never to lose hope and joy. As conversation wanes and moonlight floods the house, two friends lean close, whispering, scheming, promising that when their turn comes, they'll do things differently. A fleeting sense of freedom bonds them, rare and precious. The moonlight spills over the gathering, illuminating tired but hopeful disciples as they prepare for a night of reckoning. Shadows press against the ancient walls, but inside, the flicker of resolve blazes brighter. Some exchange glances of worry, others sip tea in silence, each lost in their own anticipation. Brothers sit together, mulling over the meaning behind this latest assembly. The gap between generations grows more apparent with every word. Tonight's discussion may decide more than strategy. It will test loyalty and courage under pressure. Leaders debate the future of the clan, their measured tones hiding the gravity of what lies ahead. Proposals drift, some conciliatory, some radical as tradition and personal ambition collide in every exchange. A younger disciple listens intently, nervously clutching her sleeve as the stakes become clear. Her brother's voice steadies her, reminding her that sometimes bravery is as quiet as listening well. Arguments simmer as an offer of compromise is gently but firmly pushed aside by a proud voice. "Stay obedient," comes the command, and around the table, uncertainty flares then is forced back beneath respectful masks. A sharp disagreement ends with a frustrated exhale, tension crackling in the air as tempers threaten to take over reason. One advisor watches, hands folded, silently measuring the risks of every move. A moment of vulnerability slips in. One sibling admitting the wind carries the scent of past regret, wondering if the cycle can ever be broken. Her companion's answer is only a gentle, hopeful smile. Change is always possible. That wistfulness passes as the talk turns to concrete plans, strategies outlined and objections weighed. Even the youngest is invited to share, her uncertain, met with rare patience. A probing elder challenges the weakest link among the disciples, the interrogation blunt but honest. Resolution flickers in uncertain eyes as she is forced to confront both fear and pride. The leader pauses to reflect, swirling tea and memories as he considers all the apprentice's failings and strengths. To guide others, he knows, you must first learn to forgive yourself. A sudden outburst echoes, slam. As another meeting erupts in chaos, one member's courage mistaken for disrespect. The aftermath is awkward, but beneath the embarrassment, something is learned about what it means to speak up. A junior grins sheepishly, scolded by her peers for taking the brunt of harsh words and still struggling to belong. Yet, the noise can't drown out the sense she's standing right at the edge of transformation. Cheers erupt from the outer halls as a ceremony begins. Disciples jostling for a better view, each eager to count the long tails of luck said to signify future fortune. Every 35 tails, and 42 tails, is met with laughter and disbelief. One voice tries for calm, quiet blood ties, ushering order over the chaos, reminding everyone that unity is their true inheritance. A dignified figure enters, drawing all eyes as he makes his way to the center of the festivities. He bears the full burden of expectation, every step watched for both wisdom and flaw. Crowds murmur as bets are laid and old rivalries rekindled, gossip about who will shine and who will falter swirling through the lantern-lit courtyard. Amid the noise, someone shakes his head, muttering that risking reputation is the bravest, if not sometimes the most foolish, move of all. Yet, it's this willingness to take a chance that marks the clan's greatest heroes. The panel closes with the shot of the assembly, past, present, and future minds all gathered together, united by ceremony, divided by hope and fear, and quietly ready for whatever trial or transformation the night will bring. Draped in ceremonial attire, the protagonist participates in a ritual, her heart pounding with the weight of tradition and expectation. Old wounds begin to surface beneath the surface calm, each gesture a thread in the old fabric of clan memory. The presence of elders and family seals her place in this living legacy. A curtain of red beads severs the sacred inner chamber from the rest of the world, a single eye peering through with anxious curiosity. Secrets and judgments hover just out of reach, both haunting and inviting. Across the barrier, destinies are being measured and decided. A distant figure gazes at the moonlit horizon, burdened by the knowledge that some judgments cannot be escaped. She yearns for freedom even as she fulfills her duty, torn between longing for selfhood and the call of obligation. The vast ceremonial hall erupts as the clan gathers, the collective energy shaking the floor with excitement and apprehension. All eyes are fixed on the circle below where fates will be revealed. From above, this moment seems both grand and intimate, history unfolding under golden light. A close-up of a trembling gaze captures fear, hope, and awe, emotions all warring for control in the protagonist's heart. In this moment she feels seen and terribly exposed. The future feels as if it's being written upon her soul. Meanwhile, another girl listens on the other side of the screen, her world equally shaped by words, whispers, and the unpredictable turns of fortune. She mourns her lack of agency, aching for a chance to influence her own story. Inside, two betrothed are celebrated as their match is declared decent. Yet tradition makes little room for love, drawing no distinction between happiness and compliance. Encircled by crimson and custom, each child of the clan wonders how they will carry both the burden and blessing of ancestry. Red veils swirl as women move through the formalities, each step a study in discipline, secrecy, and silent hope. Beneath the colorful finery lies a tension, lives mapped by duty, but hearts still unquiet. A male figure sweeps down the corridor, garments bright against marble and mosaic, his presence commanding. His focused gaze says he will not let the old ways stop him from protecting what matters. He is caught between the reverence for tradition and the love that demands rebellion. A young woman raises her chin with quiet rebellion, lips parting in a vow to not be seen merely as a pawn or prize. Her longing to shape her destiny is palpable, even in the delicate light of the lanterns. Armed with ceremony swords, the gathering splits into factions, young and old sizing each other up, murmuring about what will be gained or lost before the night is through. Tension glimmers like steel, alliances shift beneath the surface. Moonlight bathes a wall of cherry blossoms, the clan's glorious history both illuminated and obscured by its grandeur. Legends whisper through the petals, reminding every watcher, choose wisely, for every act will be remembered. Guests and kin alike admire the poised central figure, appraising her as perfectly developed for the role the evening demands. With every approving glance, she feels more the artifact, less the architect, of her own fate. From the edge of the crowd, envious eyes fixate on her with longing and resentment, voices rising in playful demand. They wonder aloud what it would be like to have the main dish, unaware of the price that comes with being chosen. A hush falls as new arrivals enter, cloaked in finery and mystery. For a moment, every heart aligns in anticipation of what will be unwrapped. Truths and fates tightly wound together. At the foot of the dais, an elder declares, "I have said enough. The rest will be for fate and the young to decide." The ceremony's true test has yet to begin. A lone figure steals a glance back toward the cherry-petaled moon, her mind heavy with what must be done and what might still be changed. Every flower and shadow becomes an omen in her private struggle. The final panel widens the view, a sea of faces, hope and history mingled, as the heirs of the clan step forward together. Beneath ancient banners, a generation prepares to inscribe their own stories on the clan's ever-unfinished scroll. Cheers erupt as the sect leader takes the stage, the crowd's energy pulsing beneath lantern light, anticipation for tonight's competition reaching fever pitch. The disciple beside him wonders, half in excitement, half in nerves, if they'll be able to keep up with the intensity. In that lantern-lit blur, every victory and defeat tonight will be unforgettable. The grandstand is packed with fashionable onlookers, each hoping for a chance to catch the sect leader's eye as they comment on the dizzying display before them. Behind polite smiles swirl rivalries and hidden ambitions, everyone keenly aware that standing out here is everything. In this glittering crowd, reputations are at stake. Whispers ripple through the crowd as someone wonders if perceptions or pedigree matter more. In this place, faces and lineage are currency. The atmosphere thickens with anxious hope. The right introduction could change a life. Every newcomer tries to guess which looks, not achievements, will decide their fate. A group of women share playful banter over fans, teasing about who will win and whose beauty will be most noticed by the honored guests. Laughter bubbles up, but beneath it is a real longing for admiration and approval. Their rivalry is gentle, but it masks dreams none dare voice. A delicate hand draws back a curtain, a lone admirer hoping to glimpse her beloved without being seen. Outside, shifting silks and shadows tangle as the unspoken yearning for closeness persists. With every moment, she promises herself to be brave, even if all that's possible is to watch from afar. A quick glance at a public notice reminds everyone that, even in times of fierce contest, community and belonging matter, urging them to support each other. The message is clear. In this world, cooperation is as necessary as cunning. The reminder resonates, even as hearts tighten with anticipation. Beneath moonlit banners, subtle eye contact flickers between those vying for position, alliances forming and fading in a heartbeat. In the sea of hopefuls, the desire for acknowledgement feels both lonely and electric, each heart a little compass, spinning toward hope. A poised, low-profile sect leader observes everything, careful to keep emotions in check amid the chaos. He knows the value of watching and waiting. Strategies are born in silence. His restraint and mystery draw even fiercer scrutiny from the crowd. A girl in embroidered robes wrestles with uncertainty. Should she step forward and speak her mind, or fade back and maintain dignity? She steels herself, remembering promises made to family and to her own cautious heart. Each decision tonight feels irreversible. Another group of women banter and prod one another to act. Stakes are high, but so is the risk of embarrassment in front of so many. They play at nonchalance, secretly measuring every word and movement, knowing this stage could launch or ruin futures. Even laughter becomes a weapon and a shield. One woman veils her face in pink, shielding private grief and hidden scars from the proud gaze of her master. In secret, she prays for the courage to show who she truly is. Despite vulnerability, she resolves to follow, loyalty stronger than shame. A single tear slips from her eye as her mentor stands tall, emotionally distant yet silently supportive. In her sadness, she finally finds resolve. From today onwards, I'll follow him, with or without a deed, that no longer matters. A mentor's gentle voice soothes the next generation, urging them not to weigh their worth by popularity. His compassion gives rare comfort. Everyone deserves respect, even those who don't win the crowd's favor. The youngest in the room grips a secret note, paper torn but heart unbroken, containing words meant to free her from the grip of comparison and fear. She reads it twice, folds it with trembling fingers, and tucks it close to promise a fresh start. With trembling certainty, the sect leader stands to address the hall, his voice both commanding and gentle. Clarity and humility resonate, inspiring devotion even amid jealousy and self-doubt. A blush creeps across a shy girl's cheeks as she's called forward, spotlighted under a moon-bright lantern. All doubts crowd her mind as she murmurs a soft, okay. But in that courage, worlds begin to shift. A single phrase lingers. From today onwards, I'll follow him with or without a deed that no longer matters. The words thrum beneath every whispered promise and every hopeful glance. The final exchange is quiet, simple, a nod between student and master. Sometimes, the most profound devotion is the one shared in a single heartbeat in the midst of a noisy crowd. A graceful hand reaches out, hesitating in the lantern-lit dusk as uncertainty flickers in her eyes, torn between retreat and taking the next bold step. Underneath the surface, hope and apprehension mingle, charging the air around her with restless possibility. A gentle voice offers, "Little sister, here, I'll lead the way." As a ribbon of trust winds between them, softening old tension with the promise of guidance. Relief and gratitude brush her features, old wounds momentarily eased by the warmth of support. With a sudden entrance, a sibling appears by her side, surprising her with a wordless gesture of solidarity in the crowded festival square. Their presence instills new confidence, the spark of belonging brighter than any lantern above. Lanterns illuminate the night in rich golden hues, casting memories and aspirations across every face below. The city's celebration becomes a backdrop for dreams quietly being rewritten. She hides a soft smile, half obscured by glowing lanterns and warm laughter, savoring the comfort of loyalty in a world that's often too demanding. Caught in a small cluster, the siblings listen as wise advice settles over their shoulders, the festival's colors blurring anxieties they were afraid to voice. Community, not bravado, becomes their shield. Two siblings lean in, sharing a private conversation amid the throng, each pondering whether to confess fears or keep them hidden for another night. A tender silence lingers, laden with the weight of things unsaid. Amid laughter, a gentle nudge is given. Do you want to stick together? Turning obligation into a genuine invitation. Lanterns sway and worries recede, replaced by the easy comfort of companionship. The answer is a bright, damn it, as a pair hugs in celebration, drawing unexpected strength from each other's stubborn resilience. In that closeness, heartache and pride intermingle, each uplifted by the other's spirit. Their footsteps fall naturally in line, the group wandering past glowing orange lights as unspoken questions are traded in smiles and sideways glances. For once, there is no rush to solve every problem, just the rare pleasure of being together. Playful teasing ensues as concern clashes with affection, leaving everyone a little more at ease. Realizations dawn softly. Comfort does not weaken resolve, and vulnerability has its own subtle power. Why do you care? One sibling asks, genuine curiosity tucked inside a teasing tone. The answer is almost lost in the swirl of festival sounds, but it's written in the gentle care of every gesture. A quieter pair shares a moment away from the crowd, acknowledging that worries and insecurities travel with them even in joyful times. With quiet resolve, they vow to keep showing up for each other, messy hearts and all. A sibling admits quietly, with stars like that, it's already pretty good, furthermore. Contentment settling where anxiety once lived. What matters now is not what was lost, but what has grown stronger. One leans against the other, stargazing and savoring the safety of not having to face the world alone. A soft wish is made, echoed in the silent nods of loved ones close by. A memory rushes in as laughter gives way to nostalgia, and the siblings recall old troubles with the kind of affection only possible after forgiveness. Bitterness dissolves, catharsis found in warm moonlight and honest company. A last hug seals the evening, and the siblings release their burdens into the festival night, the lanterns carrying whispered hopes skyward. Their bond, tested but unbroken, shines all the brighter for every shadow. As they linger in the glow of celebration, butterflies swirl upward, symbolic of renewal and the infinite chances love allows. The future remains uncertain, but the moment is perfect in its fragile beauty, a promise that light will always find its way through. Cherry blossom petals drift across a single eye, reflecting longing and the ache of choices not yet made. With each blink, memories blur and resolve, the world narrowing to potent hope. She exhales, knowing her life's next act begins at this threshold. A glimpse of lips and pale skin, adorned with a simple necklace, hints at vulnerability behind confident posture. Her words are measured, but secrets swirl just beneath the surface. Composure is the only armor she can trust. Perfectly styled hair tumbles free as she turns away, petals caught at her collarbone and across her shoulder. Tension ripples through every gesture, a moment suspended between resolve and regret. Beauty masks anxiety about the future's demands. As twilight deepens, voices echo in the courtyard. Come over to the bamboo house, the refrain, a ritual, a lure, a comfort repeated beneath blossoming branches. Hope and nostalgia commingle in the invitation, drawing hearts home. Dressed in a light celestial robe, the disciple stands at the garden's center, bowing her head in gentle greeting. Surrounded by spring's beauty, she prays quietly for clarity amidst her changing loyalties. The garden's peace offers shelter from her private storms. A notice board hangs filled with urgent scribbles, whispers of early releases, hidden roles, and new beginnings for those brave enough to join. It's a portal to new community and shared adventure. reminders that secret strength is sometimes collective. The world behind the door stirs with possibility. A dramatic shift. The chapter's title pulses across a background of violet and indigo, anticipation rising as the sect leader returns to focus. Shadows promise new conflicts and reconciliations. Destiny hangs on a single glance. A promise flashes. Keep a low profile, sect leader. Though loyalty calls for humility, stardom is inevitable. She steels herself, hoping her impact yields compassion, not destruction. In moonlit repose, she stretches a silk-clad leg, perched on a rooftop, awaiting a sign from fate or a message from an old ally. Every fiber yearns for the momentum to carry her forward. This moment of stillness cocoons her deepest ambitions. Blossoms whirl, her mind races with questions as she gazes upward, feeling the fragility of happiness and time. It's nothing, not any sort for me. Yet she lingers, unable to dismiss the wish that things remain as they are, just a little longer. Warm lamplight fills a study, casting long shadows over a cloistered group at the dinner table. Differences slip away as food and laughter soothe worn nerves, a family of rivals, for now at peace. In every shared dish, old wounds begin to mend. A stark command. Dongli, you have to consider for your brother's sake too. The words thunder in her heart, forcing her to weigh love against duty, the quintessential crossroads of inheritance. Sacrifice and resentment clash silently behind her eyes. The sect leader enters, face half lit by the fire, radiating both fatigue and determination. She reads the room and measures every breath, keenly aware that unity is not the same as agreement. Respect must be earned, not assumed. A bold, direct panel shouts, "Consider for your sake. The gathering of 3 sects. It's fine if you won't bring me along, but you're taking Luo Bing." Jealousy flickers, but so does genuine fear for a friend's safety. Trust and insecurity mix in the call for protection. Dressed in ceremonial black and gold, she stands tall near the entrance, framed by delicate sunlight. Even her posture is a pledge. Whatever the test, she'll meet it with dignity and strength. A quiet, trembling hope peeks beneath her composure. In morning light, she sits ramrod straight, waiting for judgment or comfort, hands folded tight in her lap. It is the posture of a student facing her elders, torn between pride and uncertainty. Every twitch betrays her longing for approval. A friend, shadowed in worry, asks, Dongli jealous?" The question is met with silence at first, but the air is thick with anticipation. Every sibling rivalry masks deeper emotion. Today's quip may become tomorrow's regret or reconciliation. At the end of the table, she sips tea, eyes distant, thoughts racing ahead to outcomes she cannot yet predict. The taste is bittersweet, as is the promise of the days to come. For now, she takes comfort in the warmth and the ritual, a small grace before the next storm. A burst of noise startles the sister and the family retainer at breakfast, signaling that today's calm will be short-lived. In that fleeting calm, she takes a slow sip, eyes darting over the rim of her cup, preparing herself for whatever drama the morning will bring. She swallows quickly. Tension and uncertainty swirl in her mind as she steels herself for the oncoming conversation. Outside, the world is golden, but inside, nerves fizz with worry. The family sits in their lavish dining room, the soft light of the morning painting gentle shadows as each sibling tries to read the other's moods. The master sits quietly, reading more from what's left unsaid than from the words spoken aloud. One brother leans back, fingers to his head, and lets out a world-weary sigh. Burdens are mounting, and it feels like there's never enough time to process his own doubts. Across from him, a sister waits, the unspoken question hanging in the air. Sometimes, silence holds more meaning than any direct inquiry. A new sibling enters, their presence commanding yet bittersweet, as memories of yesterday's conflicts and losses brush every tender word. The youngest glances at both older siblings, trying to decipher shifting alliances and undercurrents, her own hopes nearly lost in the swirl of adult negotiations. On an adjacent panel, her delicate foot hesitates at the door. She's not sure if she should step in, but the moment beckons her on. From the corner, sunlight touches the side of her face as she watches her elders, longing to be included in their secret strength. In that landscape of shadows and light, she quietly promises to do more, to be more. Relief escapes as a single "phew" leaves her lips, the pressure of holding back her feelings momentarily lifted. In silhouette, a gentle spirit reminds the group that their methods, never cruel, always careful, still leave scars on those who must bear them. Even kind discipline is weighty when love is what's truly at stake. Two brothers, masked by the veneer of daily routine, exchange a loaded glance. Truly without much of a presence, one remarks. Yet beneath the bravado lies a resignation that the quiet sibling's painful absence shapes the room. Another family meal, another unacknowledged chasm. A sister's joke masks her hunger for approval. A tight crop shows the master. Eyes half closed, weary from years of managing turmoil and joy, pondering where to bend and where to stand firm. The lace of a dress draws all gazes as it trails along the wooden floor, a symbol of both tradition and the changes creeping quietly across every threshold. In the next room, a friend or distant cousin pauses, acutely aware that each step into this house reshapes old stories into new promises or new aches. An inward breath, lips parted, captures her fragile relief at merely surviving another round of family politics. Finally, as sun pours in and lanterns sway in a gentle breeze, the family finds its rhythm. Never perfect, always hopeful, a blend of regret, resolve, and the secret pleasure of simply being together another day. A close-up of a hesitant expression captures the tension as the sect leader nervously wonders whether she's made a misstep that has soured the mood. Her thoughts swirl with uncertainty, the perfect image of composure cracking at the edges in private. She stands alone in the corridor as her mind races. Did I do something to offend her? The emptiness of the hall answers only with echoes. Sometimes, silence is the heaviest burden to carry. From a balcony above the lantern-lit square, a friend smirks into her tea and muses. How smart of you to be reminding me of that now. Deflecting affection with mock annoyance, she listens for sincerity in every word. In a quiet parlor, another acolyte is flustered by the attention, stammering and sweating under the pressure of offering tea, afraid that every gesture might invite scrutiny. With an awkward murmur, the sect leader accepts the cup but searches her companion's gaze for genuine rapport, secretly hoping for something real beneath the ritual. Elsewhere in the kitchen, an attendant takes a deep breath, steadying trembling hands before pouring another round of tea, simple acts now fraught with invisible expectations. A gentle tap signals a change as someone bravely steps up to pour tea for the first time, quietly praying to make a good impression. All eyes turn to observe, some in amusement and some with kind encouragement, but even quiet acts can feel like bold performances in the clan's watchful ambience. At the low table, clever techniques are debated. How to pour without pretense, how to show sincerity without showmanship. True mastery, they agree, is found in the smallest, most authentic acts. Sunlight catches on the side of a teacup as new skills are practiced again and again, revealing that confidence is not always loud, but sometimes grows in soft, private moments. A mentor nods in subtle approval, backing away to let new bonds form with gentle trust. A tentative smile blooms, the tension finally softened as shared vulnerability forges a silent understanding more valuable than words. Siblings trade hesitant glances, realizing that the awkwardness they feel is universal. The sudden ease between them is as unexpected as it is welcome. Should I take over? One whispers, but is gently waved off, a reminder that everyone deserves the chance to be uncertain, to learn, and to stumble together. Outside, cherry blossoms drift past windows and laughter spills into the spring evening, carrying the stress away on a fragrant breeze. A friend observes from the doorway, deeply moved, and muses, how could this be, once afraid, now already feeling comfort? At the head of the table, the sect leader leans back, surprised by the quick shift from anxiety to warmth. Old doubts dissolve in the presence of true kinship. The closing image features a quiet, reflective gaze. These tentative steps and awkward rituals have brought everyone closer. In the gentle confusion of learning and loving, a true family is quietly, beautifully forged. She sits quietly, her hand brushing cherry blossom petals as she contemplates the sting of another failure in the art of tea pouring. Memories of past mistakes and the ache of repeated efforts linger behind her calm expression, determination burning beneath the surface. Across the table, her mentor's words echo. He's seen even deeper tricks and greater setbacks, and no defeat is ever truly final. In his gaze is reassurance that perseverance is valued far more than any single performance. A droplet lingers on her lip as she steadies herself, breath shallow, longing to move forward but reluctant to expose fresh disappointment. Vulnerability and resilience entwine in that pause. A flashback overlays the present, panels of memory and inner dialogue, reminding her that growth is a winding, often lonely road. Gentle support exists, but most lessons are learned in solitude. The day's light shifts. Have you ever had this feeling? She muses silently, comparing the cycle of mistakes to the golden hope that maybe next time, she'll get it right. A companion gazes at her from beyond a screen of falling petals, their silent promise to wait as long as it takes clear in their eyes. Comfort can be unspoken yet unyielding. Back at the table, she hesitates again, unconsciously revealing every nerve. The art of tea is not in the elegant display, but in bearing one's heart, even when it trembles. Her hand slips, a cup tumbles, and the room announces her latest setback with a sharp failure, emblazoned in bold. Her breath escapes in a wordless sigh. As the echoes fade, she gathers herself and volunteers again. Senior brother, I can do it. She knows that courage is measured not by perfect execution, but by the readiness to try again. A gentle attempt becomes a minor disaster. A cascade of water soaks her sleeve and lap as she whispers. My clothes are all wet, pride falters, but the spirit to laugh endures. Her inner voice articulates the struggle. Tea art is the art of unintentionally revealing your heart, the mind and the hand forever learning together. Embarrassed, she steadies the pot once more, determined to master not just the technique, but her own persistent anxiety. Failure looms again, another slip, but this time the sting is joined by the warmth of friendly laughter. In their gentle teasing, she glimpses acceptance. Her imperfection grants her belonging rather than exile. Those watching scoff at first, quick to judge. What's wrong? You can't even pour water properly? They sneer, missing that mastery is born of many such stumbles. Still, her mentor waits and watches, never mocking, only supporting, his patience the foundation for her growing grit. Even as another failure bends her shoulders, a deep breath reminds her that every artist's journey is paved with mistakes and second chances. Cherry blossoms fill the frame, the blossoms echoing the persistence and soft renewal at the heart of all meaningful progress. With a sense of closure, she looks to tomorrow with hope unfaded. Amidst spills and sighs, her spirit, like the tea, remains warm, fragrant, and quietly resilient. She sits quietly by her brother's side as he encourages her to take charge, lending his support but trusting her to take the lead. Confidence flickers uncertainly in her eyes, and she nods, determined to prove herself while everyone is watching. Her sandal catches unexpectedly on a rumpled mat, and she stumbles with a bashful, "Aya." But the room only laughs softly, understanding her nerves. The teasing is gentle, but inside, her heart pounds with embarrassment and longing to do better next time. Trying once more, she pours the tea, a task that looks simple but feels monumental against the weight of so many expectations. Every movement matters, and even the tiniest tremor feels like the world is watching. A sudden shake causes the tea to slosh, and as the liquid spills, her face falls, shoulders curling inwards as she waits for criticism. The murmurs sting, but she steels herself, refusing to let disappointment take over. With a deep breath, she gathers her chi, channeling inner strength so that the next attempt glows softly with green energy. Hope pulses beneath the surface, the air around her gently swirling as she leans into her hidden talents. Her brother watches, encouraging her silently. His faith is quiet but ever present. Together, they endure the scrutiny of tradition, a web that binds but also protects. Off to the side, a rival glances back, envy mixing with admiration as he whispers, "She's not bad." For a brief moment, competition gives way to reluctant respect. Beyond the open doors, the world waits, sunlight slicing through clouds, each ray a reminder that outside these rooms, dreams and doubts weave the same restless tapestry. The ceremony lingers in every stance and glance, each nod, smile, or stumble weaving together a living family portrait. Missteps are forgiven, growth unmistakable. Even as blushes rise and frustration builds, there's a sense that what really matters is the quiet resilience growing behind her shy smiles. A mentor gently rests his hand on her shoulder, whispering, "What's that?" An encouragement to stand tall even when she feels small. In that exchange, reassurance is given, not with grand declarations, but with presence and patience. Later, she presses her hands to her cheeks, face flushed with pride and relief as laughter bubbles up for the first time all day. When love feels certain, even mistakes become milestones. A stray thought crosses her mind. Why did I say that out loud? This is such. But the blush deepens, amusement overtaking regret. There is freedom in honesty, even if it comes awkwardly. Her brother offers a rare, genuine smile, wrapping an arm round her shoulders. The warmth is unmistakable. No achievement, no matter how small, is ever insignificant when shared. A final, lingering glance closes the scene. Tradition, rivalry, and affection all wound together, a delicate balance that promises to shift again with every sunrise. As dusk slips over the home, she is left gazing out the window at the endless horizon, the future gently beckoning her forward. In that peaceful hush, she realizes she's never truly alone. Each lesson, every stumble, and all that laughter preparing her for whatever comes next. Throughout it all, petals swirl in the wind outside, and she knows in her heart that growing up means learning to lean, to trust, and to keep trying no matter how many times you stumble along the way. The morning begins with the protagonist loudly praising the young lord, listing his virtues as the courtyard crowd listens, half amused and half amazed. Her words, equal parts compliment and comedy, spark embarrassed chuckles, though everyone knows the praise is a deliberate act of charm. A nearby companion observes with a hidden smile, recognizing both the effort and its awkward sincerity. Her own thoughts drift to the countless expectations placed on them, each social gesture carrying the weight of family pride. A rival watches the scene through narrowed eyes, convinced nothing wins loyalty faster than a heartfelt compliment at the right moment. For a fleeting instant, friendship and rivalry tangle, rendering intentions deliciously uncertain. On the periphery, someone's eyes widen in appreciation as the conversation turns gently playful. Compliments, it turns out, can soften hearts and shift alliances, if only for the moment. A sudden burst of laughter breaks the tension, and the group relaxes as the young lord gives a shy wave to the onlookers. This easy camaraderie shines best in the spaces between their challenges. Somewhere nearby, another clan member is caught blushing, overwhelmed by the unexpected warmth and struggling to hide delight. There's safety in this simple kindness, even if it rings theatrical. The protagonist falters for a beat, questioning whether too much praise may come off as insincere, but is reassured with a wink. Within the crowd, a few heads nod in agreement. Honesty and exaggeration always walk a fine line. A delicate touch at the shoulder brings her back to the present, reminding her not to let confidence waver. The lesson hits home. It's not perfect delivery, but true emotion that makes connections matter. She glances sideways, catching the fleeting, proud smile from her mentor, who raises a cup in salute. The meaning is clear. Another test faced bravely, another small victory for growth. Out on the courtyard's edge, the protagonist inwardly cringes as her earlier fumbles resurface, cheeks hot with embarrassment. She wonders if genuine praise is ever enough to bridge the distance between fate and choice. A whispered thank you rides the breeze as another companion, previously silent, finally feels seen. High spirits and honest words finally draw everyone together, cementing their fragile peace. A rival sidles close, half mocking but mostly sincere, requesting another cup and admitting, "You don't have to serve me this way." The subtle shift in tone signals the beginnings of respect. The sun climbs higher, illuminating faces turned hopefully skyward as challenges are set aside for a while. In these brief, golden hours, courtesies become foundations for future trust. The youngest in the group tries to keep up, stealing glances and offering hesitant compliments in imitation. Laughter follows, but so does acceptance. Every effort is met with encouragement, never scorn. A mentor muses privately on the unpredictability of young hearts, their earnestness today, their doubts tomorrow. For now, he is content to guide, watching confidence build with every kind exchange. Fresh tea is poured and shared as stories and jokes stream forth, the room echoing with newfound optimism. Even past wounds fade in the generosity of the moment. A visitor from another clan quietly records the scene, determined to bring the lesson, genuine affirmation, bold even when awkward, back to her own family. As the gathering breaks, the protagonist, now a little more confident, walks into the next chapter beneath an open blue sky. Compliments and kindness in her wake, she finds hope for belonging in simple, honest words and the courage to use them again. A thoughtful young lord stands amidst a blue sky, quietly asking if his companion truly understood the meaning behind his gesture. The rare vulnerability in his voice prompts long-hidden feelings to stir in those who hear him. She sips tea hesitantly as he gently asks, "Do you not like it?" Her cheeks tinge pink, unable to voice her true feelings while surrounded by the attentive gaze of others. A pensive side profile reveals a swirl of emotions, uncertainty, hope, and the weight of expectations all echo in the soft sunlight that lingers on her features. She steels herself, mentally rehearsing the words she wants to say, determined to not let shyness steal the moment. Her resolve is written in the gentle set of her mouth, fragile but growing. A swallow betrays her nerves. She tries not to let the others see how much their attention affects her. Small gestures become monumental, every sip loaded with significance. Awkward teasing brightens the moment, her companion's awkwardness mirrored in her own, transforming embarrassment into gentle camaraderie. From the edges of the veranda, a close friend steps up to defend her, quickly silencing anyone who would interrupt the atmosphere of vulnerability. Their loyalty adds strength where it's needed most. The family patriarch nods, satisfied, as the youngest siblings follow each cue. Tradition plays out in ritual, yet beneath it runs the undercurrent of growing mutual respect. Beneath their silent glances, forgiveness flickers. Everyone has regrets that linger in the heart, and these fleeting moments of honesty become seeds for reconciliation. As the group shifts, their way is suddenly shown. The gazing mountains, someone announces, a new direction, a new destination pulled into focus. On the next panel, the wide landscape glows. "This is the promised location," comes the voiceover, carrying hope and fresh dreams for all who arrive. The young lord stands at the edge of the path, his posture conflicted. Should he lead, or stay behind and shelter those less bold? Inside the halls, a quiet figure gazes outward, reflecting on what it means to grow up with the weight of tradition. Nostalgia and anticipation war quietly in her chest. At the garden's edge, another sibling grimaces, self-conscious about her appearance. "Help, so ugly," she laments, yet her vulnerability is met with kindness, not ridicule, by those who love her. The gathering's elders stand tall, sharing silent wisdom and watchful approval as the next generation steps into the spotlight, ready to try again. A familiar silhouette raises a cup, declaring, "Another cup, please," capturing the easy rhythm of domestic comfort. Shared rituals slowly heal old wounds. A second voice echoes, "Yes, young lord," and the steady cadence of trust turns the air gentle. As night falls, familiar faces trade soft jokes and tired smiles, inviting new beginnings with every shared glance. Progress, it seems, always comes quietly, with every small kindness and every step forward together. The sect leader stands on the temple steps, giving a measured speech to the assembled disciples, warning them that their rivals show no sign of relenting. His voice is firm, but beneath that composure lies a spark of uncertainty. How long can he keep everyone safe? The disciples watch with a mix of admiration and doubt, aware that even their strongest protector feels the strain. A close-up catches the heroine biting back nerves, eyes wide as she recites her lines of encouragement. Her determination is visible in the delicate way she straightens her posture, hoping to inspire her peers just as much as herself. At the competition's entrance, the crowd is thick with expectation as a sudden whistle signals the start of the day's challenges. Excitement ripples down the line, the promise of new beginnings mingling with memories of past failures. Two siblings take a breath together before stepping into the sunlight, each silently vowing not to let the other down. Their hands nearly touch, but pride keeps them just apart as they posture for the onlookers. In the crowd, a cautious strategist observes the room, noting potential threats, opportunities, and likely allegiances with calculating glances. Every facial twitch becomes a clue, every sidelong look a means to survival. A brief memory flickers, a tense whispered rehearsal, close enough to feel a sibling's breath and the clandestine thrill of being almost caught. They remind each other, a little is all we need to win, not realizing how high the stakes have grown. A burst of encouragement, quickly muffled, is delivered just before the curtain rises. The hero and heroine lock eyes, harnessing that tiny spark of shared optimism to steady their nerves. As the sisters take the stage, their father offers a tight, proud smile, instantly replaced by worry as the performance seems to falter. He hides his anxiety, clapping along with the crowd, wishing his support could bridge the gulf between hope and reality. A friend from the sidelines mouths silent advice, a secret lifeline in the swirl of lights and movement. The protagonist catches his gaze, holds it for strength, then leaps into her feature song with newfound confidence. Backstage, a competitor steels himself against disappointment. Losing is never easy, but tonight it feels especially bitter. He forces a grin for his allies, knowing jealousy is the price of the family legacy. Confession swells in the closing note, the song wrapping the entire family in a fragile kind of hope. Tears blur vision, but applause cuts through, hinting that maybe, just maybe, this time the risk was worth it. Under dim lights, the strategist and performer exchange a quiet moment of gratitude that only those who know fear can truly share. The leader, loosened by relief, offers a final bow that signals, at least for tonight, peace reigns within the clan. A late autumn breeze rushes through open windows, scattering plans and misgivings alike. The future, for now, is unwritten. Siblings and rivals spill onto the moonlit garden for celebration, their laughter promising new bonds even as old wounds begin to heal. In the hush that follows, someone whispers the clan motto, reminded that courage is not only to be first, but to rise again and again. A closing shot lingers, hands interlaced, heads bowed together in exhausted relief. The night's lesson is clear. Family is chosen, earned, and remade each day. As lanterns go out, and the world finally grows still, a promise hangs in the air. Tomorrow, they will all begin again, stronger for having braved both stage and storm. A soft breeze tosses the young man's hair as he closes his eyes, letting the fleeting peace linger before the coming chaos. In this brief sanctuary, he remembers promises not yet kept and old stories whispered under starlit roofs. On the crowded courtyard, an elder lectures about the importance of honesty and trust, his words sharp yet carrying the warmth of someone who's seen too many broken vows. Schooling his face, the disciple listens, caught between boyish pride and the longing to be worthy of such expectations. Another master stands with arms crossed, explaining strategy to a young woman at his side, quietly revealing the strengths and flaws of their rivals. The air bristles with caution. One wrong move, and the delicate balance of alliances could shatter. Amid the tense dialogue, a disciple bows deeply, masking his anxiety with habitual respect. Thoughts of family honor clutch his heart even as his own goals threaten to pull him in a different direction. From the shadows, a younger fighter watches her formidable brother ascend the training steps, her voice full of hope and fear intertwined. Up close, the difference between following tradition and forging your own path seems impossibly wide. A tournament official's whistle pierces the morning air, setting off a chain of events that promise glory but demand sacrifice. Competitors line up, steel in their eyes, every stance an oath and every breath a dare. Battle erupts on the green, swords flying and cloaks billowing as the crowd gasps in unison. Sparks leap in the sun, and the thrill of real risk settles into every stance. For a brief, silent second, the panic of a devastating blow pulses red before the scene refocuses. Life and defeat flashing before one stunned, desperate stare. A frantic cry, someone's name shouted in terror, breaks the spell. Down in the dust, the cost of ambition is raw. Not all wounds are visible, and not every rival is a monster. A trembling figure tries to stand, clutching her side as blood pools through her clothes. She laughs bitterly, dismissing the fresh pain as just a phase. Habituated to disappointment, but never truly numb. Approaching too late, a senior shouts across the fray, regret thickening every word. The one on the ground manages a smile, confiding, "Too much," in a whisper that means loss, love, and a longing to try again, all at once. As dusk falls, a second fighter kneels by the fallen, shamed by his slowness to act and left with the taste of what if and too late. In the closing silence, a final confidant leans close, offering comfort where words fail, reminding her she is still loved, still seen, and in this long, hard war, never truly alone.